pollute but don't get old.
Hello everyone, and welcome. I hope you're all doing well on this fine Sunday afternoon, morning, night, wherever you may be. Today we are here with the Eternal Challenger League, and we are on the 6th qualifier. So we're almost there. For anyone who's just joining or doesn't know the structure of the Eternal Challenger League, essentially there's going to be 9 streams in total. The first 8 streams are going to be qualifiers. The winner of each of these streams, which are going to be 4-man tournaments, are going to be qualifying for the Grand Finals. So the Grand Finals, of course, I better put up a screen blocker before I forget. But anyways, we'll do that in just a moment. So for today, we have Zablocki facing off against Hadries and Rigson facing off against Fly on Bread. So definitely going to be quite a bit of fun. And yeah, guys, that's the tale of the tape for today. We're going to have 2 best of 3s initially. So Zablocki and Hadries will be having their best of 3 right now, followed up by Rigson and Fly on Bread. And then the winners will be playing a best of 5 finals, which is definitely going to be pretty awesome. And each of the winners is going to get one of the pieces of 8. The piece of 8, of course, qualifies you for the grand finals, which are essentially going to be the same as the Ever Chosen Invitational. For anyone who's seen that, it's going to be an 8-man tournament. It's going to be an all-day event. We're going to have sponsors. We're going to have prizes, giveaways, all kinds of fun stuff. So this is going to be going on most likely in January from the looks of things. December is going to get a little bit crazy around the holidays, but we'll probably be having the finals, and I would imagine the beginning of January. As far as the season structure goes, we're going to be having seasons whenever there's a new launch, like a new DLC or anything like that. We're going to be having a season to go along with it. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. It's going to be fun. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the army blocker. I actually have an army blocker. I just forgot to put it down here. So let me go ahead and open up the game here real quick. And yeah, 1 second. All right, Wookie, where are you at? So I know a lot of you guys wanted a Wookiee back as the army blocker, so I'll make sure to get the Wookiee back here in just a moment. There's always like one little detail that I forget as we're getting these things started. Here we go. That's good. That's my dog for anyone who's wondering. Yeah, so in this match, we're going to have a showdown between Zablocki, a very high-level player, as well as Hadries as well. So it's going to be a fierce one. And we do have High Elves versus the Dark Elves here. Going to be, I guess, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a grudge match, but it's definitely a very thematic matchup as it pertains to Warhammer lore and whatnot. So start when ready. Zablocki says he wants to show off his fancy build, and the Elves really just want to go at each other, which is definitely true. You know, I don't know too much about the Elvish factions. I mean, I'm a decent player at all the Elf factions. Not like great, but I have like a basic understanding. But I'm quite eager to see what these guys have in store for one another. It's going to be fun. For anyone just joining, this is the very first game of the day. You guys haven't missed anything. We're just getting started with the first best of 3 showdown in this Eternal Challenger League qualifier between Zablocki and Hadries. The winner, of course, will be moving on to the finals to face the winner of the second bracket. It's definitely not wise to upset the Wookiee. Yeah, that's my dog, Wookiee. He's a majestic boy, although that's an old picture of him. Nothing has been missed. We're just getting started, guys. Yeah. I got the screen blockers now, though. But honestly, these guys are sitting in Discord chatting together, so I would hope they have some respect for one another. Not to stream snipe, but just to be safe, we'll make sure to put it up for the rest of the games here. So the first one is going to be on Mushroom Cave, which is actually one of my favorite maps. It's very fast, it's small paced, and I just love these like close quarters maps. And I feel like there's so much potential with like subterranean maps in terms of their aesthetics and the way they look. And yeah, this one is a really fun map here. So the players are going to be loading in. We'll get started here in just a moment. Game 1, indeed, it's going to be probably about 2 to 3 hours. Those are the usual running length of our tournaments here. Yeah. Oh yeah. What do you guys have? Any predictions? Who do you guys have for this one? Zablocki or Hadries? Hadries? Hopefully I'm not mangling that name. I'm so terrible with like pronunciations and names and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. Dark Elves obviously have had a pretty good track record of being... I think Dark Elves are probably, just from my topical assessment, I think Dark Elves are a little bit stronger of a faction than High Elves, but High Elves are a very high skill cap faction, right? I think at the hands of a very, top level player, they can be just as scary as Dark Elves, given the circumstances. I mean, it's very matchup specific, but I feel like the High Elves have a lot of good answers for the Dark Elves. Yeah, we'll find out. Jared Plotz, thank you for the $20 donation. Keep producing great content. New to the community and dig it so far. Cleveland represent. Are you a Browns fan? Thank you, Jared. Really appreciate it, man. I used to be a big NFL fan because I played American football for like 7 years. So I used to be like diehard into following the NFL and all that. Cleveland represent. Right on, man. Thank you. All right, guys. So here we are. We have a showdown between the High Elves, who are going to be led by Zablocki, and they're going to be facing off against the Dark Elves, who are going to be led by Hadries. So, wow, this build is going to be very interesting, very micro-intensive. So Zablocki is actually going with the double Flamespire Phoenix. So the Flamespire Phoenixes have a couple of neat abilities, and let's actually go ahead and take a look if you'll stop moving them for just a second. So number 1, they can really catch people off guard with their healing. They have this rebirth. So when their hit points are less than 10%, they actually basically just heal themselves a substantial amount. I don't know if it goes off like every time or if it's like a chance. But yeah, it's a chance of gaining hit points. Yeah, but it's still very, very powerful. They also have the bombs, which is called the Wake of Fire, and they also do have attuned to magic. So when you have Winds of Magic above 50%, I believe they get 12% damage resist. These guys can be pretty scary. I mean, the bombs can do a lot of damage against things like Witch Elves and Dread Spheres, but again, it's super micro intensive. It can be a bit of a micro pit or a trap, as I like to say, but I think Zablocki is obviously an extremely good player. He's going to be able to handle that. We also have Techless. We have Nets and Enfeebling Foe and Regrowth for him. Two groups of the Illyrian Reaver Archers, which are great. They can deal Dark Riders. They can outskirmish Dark Riders with repeater crossbows. They're just a very, very good pick. So Zablocki so far looking pretty solid. A couple groups of the White Lines here in the front line to give them some meat. These guys obviously have 90 armor. They're going to be a little bit more durable against things like Witch Elves and Sisters of Slaughter. And yeah, if they do decide to go with like Harganeth or heavily armored troops, they do have AP. A couple groups of Spears as well, and that's going to be it. So the core of his build is really going to be these Dragon Princes here, the Fireborn, which I actually forgot to talk about, but yeah, so the Fireborn here, and then also two of these Pigeons, so two of the Flamespire Phoenixes. This is definitely looking to be a pretty hog-wild build. Quite excited to see this. And for the Dark Elves, it looks like we have a Supreme Sorceress with the Lore of Death, which is pretty standard stuff. It's very cheap. It costs like 900 or 1,000, I think. It got nerfed recently, but still, it's like 1,000 gold, and you just get a Spirit Leech machine, which is always pretty damn strong. So we got Supreme Sorcerers here. We have a couple groups of Cold One Knights. Looks like the Dread Knights here, actually the Knights of the Ebb and Claw. So we're going to be having the Elite High Elf Cav facing off against the Elite Dark Elf Cav. Beta Buna is probably going to be going down on Fireborn, and Nets and Enfeebling Foe on the Dread Knight. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Dread Spears in the front line here. Sisters of Singing Doom, which of course do Rampage. For anyone who hasn't seen them, they're the Regiment of Renown of Witch Elves, and they actually cause terror, which normal Witch Elves don't. They also will Rampage with the Madness of Cain. So pretty scary stuff. In the back, he's Sisters of Slaughter, Dread Spears, a couple of Corsairs on the far side. Actually, no, those are Witch Elves. I thought they were Corsairs. And Cold One Knights and Slaanesha's Harvester. So pretty sweet army. In the back, there is a deep vanguard of Dark Riders with shields. And yeah, I'm really excited to actually see how these Froststar Phoenixes, or these Flamespire Phoenixes. I'm so used to seeing the Frost ones, but I'm really excited to see how this is going to go. Has anyone told me I look like Santa's helper? That's fine, I'll take it. Yeah, start when ready. I can't type because my hands hurt. Start when ready. Oh yeah, it's time. So predictions, guys, let's hear it in chat. Who do you guys think is going to take this first game here? Zablocki or Hadries? I know the double Flamespire Phoenix, definitely very, you know, off meta, to say the least. So I wonder if he's going to go in and use the bombs right away, or if he's going to be a little bit more conservative and wait for the Dark Elves to blob up. Anyways, Doomfire Warlocks are coming in here, so he does actually have two in total. He has the Doomfire Warlocks as well as the Slaanesha's Harvesters. So right now, the Illyrian Reaver Archers are going to start shooting at the Knights of the Ebb and Claw, which is fine. I mean, might as well chip them down. They do have shields, but they're a very high-value target, and Dark Elves, of course, have no way of healing to infantry, so, or units in general, right? They can heal with, like, Soul Stealer, but that's going to be some decent value. So it looks like there might have been a couple bombs going down from the Bird. The Bird is the word. Look at Zablocki dropping this hot fire on the Sisters of Singing Doom. So it looks like he's just a little bit behind, but it's still doing a decent amount of damage. I think he just needs to be a little bit ahead. He was just slightly out of position for that, but I think the best way to use the Phoenixes is probably to wait for the fighting to start and then bombard them while they're bunched up and fighting. Right here, the Knights of the Ebb and Claw are going to be rolling dirty with the Supreme Sorcerers with the Lore of Death, and it looks like Doomfire Warlocks going as well. Those guys are so scary. Being able to drop Soul Blight in fights is just so powerful. A little bit of poke going down. You can see the Knights of the Ebb and Claw are definitely taking some damage here. But the Doomfire Warlocks might be charging in. It could be a little bit of a bait. I think he just wants to maybe absorb the charge here and use Soul Blight, or yeah, I'm not sure what he really wants to do here. Wow, and the Flamespire Phoenix actually coming in for a cycle charge. So it jumps in, it attacks the Knights of the Ebb and Claw. That is a bold strategy, Cotton. And look at this. Zablocki actually took the Sisters of Singing Doom down to like half health with that Phoenix. So, I mean, that's really not bad. If he can actually wear down the Sisters of Slaughter with the Phoenix Bombs, that could be pretty powerful. Looks like he did miss a couple here, unfortunately. But there goes one. Oh, he's just a little bit off on the bombing, but still getting some pretty decent potential here. I would definitely start saving the bombs for the main fight, so you can get them when they're bunched up, so you don't really have to time the movements. Because, I mean, it's so close. He's almost getting good value. If he was just like a little bit ahead there, yeah, there you go. That's the good and juicy spot. See, that's not bad. I mean, that's... Imagine if like all the bombs had been like around that efficiency, but that's good. I mean, those are expensive troops. They cost like 1,000 gold. So the tactical bird droppings doing some pretty good work here. It looks like there's going to be a charge of the Slaanesha's Harvesters into the flank of the Spears. And they weren't facing those guys, so their charge defense isn't really going to help them. The Slaanesha's Harvesters chewing up those Spearmen pretty quick and taking almost no damage in return. In the meantime, the Sisters are going to be charging in the front, and this is going to be just absolute slaughter here for these Spearmen. White Lines are obviously going to charge in as well, and it looks like Zablocki is very busy microing his Phoenixes over here. Fireborn charging in. It looks like we're going to have a massive fight. Dark Riders charging in to intercept. Now, the Dark Riders are going to get massacred really bad, but it's going to allow these guys to countercharge, but Zablocki actually drops a net. So nets on the Knights of the Ebb and Claw is going to kind of pin them in place. It looks like there's going to be a Fate of Buna going down as well on the Fireborn. So just very back and forth, but it's looking a little bit tough for the Dark Elves here. They're pinned in spears, white lines are coming in, the double phoenixes, and the Knights of the Ebon Claw are getting beaten down pretty badly. On this side of the battlefield, it's obviously favoring the Dark Elves, the Witch Elves, and the Sisters of Singing Doom, or Sisters, whatever, the Witch Elves, and it looks like the Slaanesha's Harvesters are chewing through the infantry very, very quickly here. So Zablocki definitely needs to move his formation, get the Spearmen, some of these white lines over here, and just kind of commit to this pit fight, which is actually going very well for the High Elves. Now, the Fated Buna did good damage, but Zablocki did respond with the regrowth from his caster, obviously, from Teclis, and it looks like it's kind of counterbalancing a little bit. They're at 36 models, so they're still in pretty good shape. Reaver Archers, in the meantime, are just kind of posturing for the charge of the Cold One Knights. This is going to be a pretty rough rear charge, for sure. If this comes right in the back here, obviously the Cold One Knights do have pretty good armor piercing against both the White Lines as well as the Fireborn. Now, big Soul Stealer going down, Mark of Pain as well, and it looks like Zablocki is going to be pulling back his Fireborn to intercept the Cold One Knights of Hadri's, but Hadri's looks like he's going to take the fight. Yeah, the Cold One Knights are going to be engaging. The Fireborn are pretty beat up. That Word of Pain is actually going to put their melee attack to 0. That's going to be really strong, and you can see the Fireborn are actually wavering, and they're terrified. Wow, that's quite powerful. Over here, Doomfire Warlocks do get a nice juicy charge here on the Reaver Archers, but the Reaver Archers are pretty powerful in their own right, so they could probably easily win these two engagements, especially with the support of Teclis here. So the pigeons are back up in the sky. One of the pigeons here is getting pretty damn low. Spirit Leech is going down in the sky. It looks like it has been used a couple times on him. Now, if the Flamespire Phoenix does get that fat, juicy heal using the Rebirth, that could be pretty damn game-changing for sure. I've had countless games where I'm fighting against the Flamespire Phoenixes, and I'm like, oh, I'm about to win the game, and then suddenly it like heals up to like full. You're like, damn it. But we'll see if it heals up. The other Flamespire Phoenix looks like it's going to be diving in, trying to assassinate the Supreme Sorceress with the Lore of Death, but Hadri's does a very good job keeping her near the Witch Elves, and then the Witch Elves are able to rampage the Pigeon. The Pigeon only has 30 armor and relatively low melee defense, so he's going to get chewed up pretty bad by the high DPS of the High Elves here. So far it looks like Hadri's is going to be taking game 1. The High Elf forces are kind of being swept here. Zablocki does have the White Lions here. It looks like there's another group of White Lions and Spearmen, but I don't know, he might be able to pull something out. He does have his Reaver Archers, so he can definitely do some harassing, and Teclis is still in good shape to provide a little bit of a... And if the Pigeons do get some big heals, I think he could potentially get back up in this game, but if they don't, I think he's going to be in trouble. So this Pigeon here is going to get Spirit Leech. It looks like it's at about 500 HP, and it looks like the heal hasn't procced on it, nor has it procced on the other Flamespire Phoenix, so 0 for 2 so far definitely sucks. And that Flamespire Phoenix is actually dragged down by the forces of the Dark Elves. So Hadri is able to take down the Pigeon. The other Pigeon's going to be flying over, maybe looking to go in for one last Alpha Strike here on the Supreme Sorceress with the Lore of Death. But alas, I don't know if that's going to pan out. He definitely gave it his all, bringing the double Flamespire Phoenix build, a bold strategy against one of the best factions in the game, but I mean, it almost paid off a little bit in the beginning. And he had some really good engagements with the Dark Elves, with those chain debuffs, the Fated Buna, the Spirit Leeches, and using that Mark of Pain on the Fireborn is so effective. It basically just nullifies your most powerful unit for like 40 seconds, which is insane, right? So the Flamespire Phoenix fully surrounded by the Dark Elves here. You can see that the Slaanesha's Harvesters and Sisters could easily take this thing out. There are some Reaver Archers, pretty low on ammunition. Looks like you might go for some charging, but honestly the Cold One Knights can probably just chase them into the Shadow Realm, and from there that's going to be all she wrote. So it actually looks like this Flamespire Phoenix did get his Rebirth effect. It looks like he was able to heal up. Either that or there was a regrowth from Teclis. I didn't actually see that, but he's going to be fighting a little bit. Bounce of Power is like 1 or 2 slivers away from being just absolute army losses, and I think once he runs out of ammunition, the rules of our tournament do stipulate that you have to engage. So Zablocki would then have to charge in with this cab and fight. Teclis, in the meantime, is going to be sitting on the wings. Obviously, he does not want any part of those Witch Elves. If he were to get tagged by them for a couple seconds, he would probably just, get rampaged and killed instantly. But it looks like he's going to be going in, maybe? No, he's going to be riding away. So as far as ammo goes, these Reaver Archers are out of ammunition. The other ones have maybe 2 or 3 volleys left. And it looks like he's going to be charging in. Zablocki knows the game is probably lost at this point, so he's going to be going out in a blaze of glory, charging into those Cold One Knights. As his other Pigeon is dragged down here, you can see the Spirit Leech play very good. So Hadri's was able to counter that. He did a great job, and that's going to be game 1, guys. Game 1 indeed. Yeah, the Fated Buna was good. I mean, it's so good against... I mean, Fated Buna plus Mark of Pain is like pretty much like a hard counter against the Fireborn, right? Like, he was able to trade so efficiently, but both players did the same thing, right? Zablocki was able to shut down the efficiency of the Knights of the Ebon Claw by netting them down and enfeebling foe, and the same thing happened to the Fireborn. So the really expensive units just kind of being taken out that game. That's going to be game 1 for Hadri's. Well played there. It is a best of 3, so if Hadri's is able to win the next game, he's going to go on to the finals. And if Zablocki takes it, we're going to be going to game 3. So game 1 for Hadri's here. And they are doing a pick and ban system. So let me actually go ahead and get the army blocker up before we move back to the lobby here. Come on, Wookiee, I summon thee. Yes. Good creature. Good creature. Make sure to switch. Yeah, so essentially how it's going is each player is picking a race and they're taking turns, and then the player who picks bans a race, and then the other player gets to pick around them. So they just like basically counter their, or ban their hardest counter for each race, which I think is pretty fun. Either that or the players can do gentlemen's agreements. It's really up to them. Zablocki, of course, is a Wood Elf main. He is very scary on the Wood Elf. So, and this is a pretty good map for the Wood Elves as well. Anguille, I think is what it's called. Thank you guys so much for joining. We are here in the first best of 3 in today's Eternal Challenger League between Zablocki and Hadries. Hadries currently up 1-0. He's able to take a victory in his first game using the Dark Elves against the High Elves. It does, Robert. Yeah. Zablocki bringing a pretty cool build for sure, bringing the double Flamespire Phoenix. I think he kind of noticed it as soon as we got into the post-game lobby. He's like, I should have saved the bombs instead of trying to get them on the move, because had he just done it right down the formation or into the Dark Elf blobs, it could have done devastating damage for sure. So let me see here. Reaper Null, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Love your channel, man. Keep it up. I definitely will do my best for you, man. Till my hands fall off. I will keep going into the bitter end. And, I'm one of those people that has like a super addictive personality, not as it pertains to like negative things, but like I guess gaming and stuff like that. But like when I get into a hobby, I'm just like obsessed. And like I played Warcraft 3 from like 2001 till 2010, like steady. And like the same thing will happen for Warhammer most likely. Like I don't get bored of it. It's weird. Like a lot of people burn out and they're like, oh, I'm sick of the game. Like I don't, it doesn't happen to me. It's very strange. Yeah. So we're here. Looks like Zablocki is going to be going with the Wood Elves, and he's going to be facing off against Hadries and his Greenskins. So yeah. Zablocki says, I was zoomed out to keep track of his cav, and it was hard to aim. Yes, he's talking about his last game and using the Phoenixes. Richie Monkey, happy Christmas to everyone. Thank you so much for the donation of 10. Thank you, man. Merry Christmas to you as well. Happy holidays, whatever it may be. Whatever part of the world you're in. Thank you, man. Hopefully you're enjoying the Eternal Challenger League. We're gonna have another. We're probably gonna try and have one midweek, because I know there's a couple people whose schedules, sometimes they're busy on Sundays. I do want to get the glorious Dov Plays in here. I see him in chat, so maybe I know he's usually busy on Sundays, so we'll try and have one this week for him. Oh man, I'm very excited for the Warcraft 3 revamp for sure. I'll be playing Reforged here on the channel a little bit, but it's a little bit hard for me to play like much more than 3 games a day. Like Total War Warhammer, I usually play 3 or 4 just to get like some replays for the channel and cast them. But after that, my hand starts to get pretty inflamed from my my wrist tendonitis. So I'm actually going to be talking to some doctors this next couple weeks. I'm trying to figure it out. The whole stem cell thing is pretty wild and expensive, but I'm just exploring options. I love playing. I actually enjoy playing campaigns. I like to play campaigns when they first come out. And, I don't like the super long, like, Mortal Empires. I mean, even the Vortex is pretty long, right? Like, I don't like those ones that take, like, 200-plus turns, 150, 300 turns. It's just, like, too much for me. I like campaigns that are short and sweet. Like, Vampire Coast was perfect. It was, like, 105 turns. It was quick. It was, like, very story-driven. It was super fun. I thought the Vampire Coast campaign was, like, perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Dob, thank you for the donation. Less than 200 likes, shameful display. Yeah, if you guys are enjoying the stream, make sure to drop a like. It does help out quite a bit. I see we have 673 people as we get the matches going here. So appreciate you guys. Yeah, grow me a new hand or give me a Luke Skywalker hand. I'll take that in a heartbeat. A Wookiee is a mix. We don't really know what he is. We presume he has like some Affenpinscher pug kind of mix in there. Nobody really knows. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Ardeline? Ardeline? Did I say your name right? Yeah, I would. It's expensive, though. Kobe doesn't have financial limitations on the medical treatments he can pursue, whereas I do. So I need to be a little bit more tactical with my choice. Yeah, we'll get you guys links to Discord. If we have any moderators in here, if any of you guys like, I know Dov can probably drop a link to Discord. If you could, that would be greatly appreciated. Get some of you guys in here. And also, if anyone's interested in joining future leagues, start when ready. Cool. If anyone's interested in joining future renditions of the Eternal Challenger League, again, we're going to be having seasons whenever there's new content drops. So just join the Discord channel, which will be getting linked in chat here momentarily. And there's a place called the Turin League request. Now remember, to play in the leagues, of course it's open, but we prefer that you have a little bit of multiplayer experience. It's definitely quite helpful because you're going to be playing against some very good people, right? So on the streams, we do want to have, you know, those solid matches that are, you know, relatively back and forth. So Wookie does snore very badly, yes. Yeah, he does. It torments my wife. When Anna's like trying to sleep, Wookie like will just be in the shadows and like he hides under the bed so we can't like kick him out of the room. And he just like snores, and it's like, it's just this like, oh my god, it's so horrible. It's so horrible. And he smacks his lips. It's so gross. It's so gross. Yeah, I know. It's weird. For some reason, the Discord links, even when I set them not to expire, they end up expiring. I don't know what it is. I really don't know. Thank you, Dov. I really appreciate it, man. Really appreciate you dropping the link there. And welcome one, welcome all. We are here with the 6th of our Eternal Challenger League qualifiers. We are almost there. Once we do finish all 8, of course, the people will be earning their pieces of 8 and we'll be going on to the grand finals. Of course, that might take a little bit of time to coordinate because I need to find a date that all 8 people can make it to. So I'm going to be working with them to figure out the dates that everyone is free and probably be on a weekend sometime. And yeah, we're going to have our big 8-man tournament. Might bring in some other casters to help out as well. Maybe cast some of the earlier round games, or I don't know. There'll be something fun like that. Yeah, this is the first best of 3. Isha Ball. This is the first one. So let me go ahead and get rid of the screen blocker. Noble Wookie has he's done his due diligence. He's going to be back later. Now we're here with game 2 between Zablocki and Hadries. Hadries was able to take the first game with some very solid Dark Elf play. He was able to use the Sisters of Slaughter and the Doomfire Warlocks very efficiently. And he's able to take that first game against the Double Flamespire Phoenix, which was definitely pretty awesome to watch. Yeah, thank you, Dov. Yeah, pugs really do snore. Wookie snores. He doesn't snore as bad as like a pure breed pug, but it's still not the best. All right, so Zablocki's bringing out his big guns. I know he's a Wood Elf main. Like, I played against him as Wood Elves, and he is definitely very, very solid when he's on point. So really eager to kind of see how this works out for him. So for the forces of Zablocki, it looks like we do have the Sisters of Thorn, of course, very similar to like Doomfire Warlocks. They can cast the Curse of Onrare, and then also the Shield of Thorns, which is super good. It actually got buffed recently, if I'm not mistaken. It now gives 22% physical resist and 25% weapon damage. So that is a really, really good like free buff. Fritz TGD, thank you so much for becoming a member here on the channel. And for anyone who's wondering what the memberships are, it's pretty much the same as Twitch. You can like sponsor, subscribe to a channel, and it's basically like a monthly donation. And yeah, you get access to like emojis and a couple other things. So then, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. All right, so we do have the Glade Lord up in the skies with the Prey of Anathrama, obviously one of the more competitive picks. I'm kind of a Mel Gibson guy myself, but I see where he's going. I think this is what the actual Wood Elf players like to use. 2 groups of Way Watchers here on the ground are going to be pretty good, but they're also susceptible to being swarmed by like Forest Goblin Spider Riders and Goblins and things like that. So really eager to see. He's probably going to try and snipe out the Greenskin Lord, but if you don't snipe out the Lord and things go backwards, oh man, that can be tough. For the rest of Zablocki's forces, he does have the War Dancers, he's got Dryads here, and it looks like, yeah, War Dancers and Dryads across the entire front line. Dryads and War Dancers will trade pretty effectively with, you know, most of the lower tier Greenskin infantry. I think against like Biggins and Blackworks and higher level troops, even Savage Orcs have a pretty like even trade with them. So going to be pretty wild, guys. Over here in the forest, we do have a Spellsinger with the Lore of Life. It has Earthblood and Regrowth. Let's see what else we got. Looks like on the far side, we have a pretty substantial Cav force. So War Dancers with Azrai Spears, and 2 groups of the Sisters of Thorn. A very powerful kiting unit, but also pretty good in melee. They do have 34, 33, and 28, and also some really good supporting magic and can fire while moving. So I like those guys quite a bit. So this is going to be very micro-intensive. The Greenskins obviously going super wide with tons of units. It is very tough to handle that number of Greenskins, especially with the WA. So for the Green Tide, we do have Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. It looks like Death's Creepers here, and Morgoth's Mangy Marauders, Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers, and 2 groups of Nasty Skulkers here. It looks like just 1. And Durkit Squig Hoppers, so just numbers. That's like just like half of his army, right? And it's like almost the full size of the Wood Elf army. For the rest of his forces, it looks like the Moon Howlers, Orc Boys here, and it looks like he does have some Night Goblins on the far side, the Regiment of Renown, the 8-Peak Loonies. For his Lord, he does have the Baconator, who's by far the best pick. He's able to kind of pin the Wood Elves in place with FG of the Get, and obviously has some really good supporting magic. And it looks like he has Foot of Gork and Broken Tusk Mob, so the Greenskin's almost an entire mobile force. Like, they have, like, pretty much no infantry. I mean, a couple Nasty Skulkers, some Orc Boys, and some Goblins, but it's a really, really small infantry force, which is absolutely insane. So this is going to be very micro-intensive for both players, but clearly Hadries is a very high-level player, and he's going to be able to handle this force. And that's what's so fun about watching these like very big, expansive builds in the hands of good players, because they can actually make them work. And Sorceress, thank you so much for sponsoring the channel. welcome. I'm going to have to get some new emotes. So maybe I'll do something where you guys can vote on what type of emotes you guys would like me to add, because I certainly have quite a few. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. And hopefully you enjoyed these games. we're it's showtime. It's showtime. So immediately out of the gates, the Way Watchers for Zablocki are going to be shooting in against Morgub's Magi Marauders, but there's going to be a full surround, and like he doesn't have too many supporting elements in the back here. I mean, the archers can fall back, but the Greenskins can certainly like swarm them, right? And there's a little bit of force here for the Greenskins to hide in, so the Baconator can definitely hide in the trees to make sure he doesn't get sniped, because the Glade Lord, the Prey of Anathrama, plus the Way Watchers can kill the Baconator super quick, so you have to be careful. It looks like the Morgub's Magi Marauders from Hadri's are being picked apart pretty efficiently by the Way Watchers, so Zablocki obviously choosing his shots very well. Night Goblin Squig Hoppers are going to be charging in onto the Dryads, and they actually take a beating from one of those volleys from the Way Watchers. So you can see here that Zablocki is not letting them auto-shoot. He's doing it manually, which is definitely very good. But look at the back. There's Night Goblin Squig Hoppers everywhere. There's just so much pressure coming in from the Greenskins, and you can see the jaws of the Green Tide are just going to be piling in. The Squigs just charging in the front line. Durkid Squigs are just going to be going balls deep and attacking these Dryads right here. But it looks like they do get caught with a Prey of Anathrama, which is pretty much going to seal their doom, as the War Dancers and everyone else are just going to collapse on them. But look at this just massive tide of Greenskin troops. And it looks like here we do have the wall pop, so the Warlord's boys have snuck up on these Dryads, and they're going to be able to prison shank them so damn hard, it is not going to be a good day. You can see they have 52 melee attack. Those Dryads are going to get cut to pieces by the sheer numbers of the lads. In the meantime, Night Goblin Squig Hoppers are hiding in the back here, and the Wood Elves are trying to form a bit of a defensive pocket. They've fallen back with the Way Watchers. It looks like Sisters of Thorn are coming over here to clean up a little bit as well. There is somewhat of an opening here, but I guess there's no Greenskins coming here. So Zablocki is doing a really good job kind of corralling the Greenskins and keeping them from the back line. And actually getting in this blob fight here is not a bad situation, right? I mean, he's holding back the entire tide. And yes, he's going to lose his fight here, but at the very least, the Greenskins are a little bit occupied, and many of their forces, which could be swarming the back line, are occupied and just, you know, trapped up here. So the Way Watcher is able to shoot back the Morgub's Magi Marauders. The Spellsinger with the Lore of Life is also sitting back here, but a massive herd of Squigs coming in. So Squig herd here, and there's one here as well, attacking these Dryads, but it looks like he's going to intercept with his Spellsinger with the Lore of Life, and the Glade Lord is landed over here, and it's actually attacking the Warlord's boys, and it looks like these Sisters of Thorn have also engaged as well, so the lads here definitely having some problems. The War Dancer's in pretty good shape, and the Balance of Power is pretty much dead even. A very I would say a close game right now. I don't think anyone's in like a super advantageous state. So the center pocket here gets caught with the curse. So the curse of Onrare is going to slow their speed by 24%. Their combat stats, not that that really matters. I mean, there are some War Dancers still fighting there, so I guess that helps. Dryads here, and it looks like we do have some Azrai Spears kind of helping out against the Squigs in the front line. But the main thing is that Zablocki has done a very good job at protecting his Way Watchers. He's kind of like an NFL quarterback, working in the pocket, sticking and moving, and making sure that the Greenskins can't get their swarm back here. So here on the front line, it looks like the War Dancers are able to actually fend off the nasty Skulkers right here, and the Durkid Squigs and all these other troops are being forced back as well. And the Glade Lord is just kind of flying overhead, and oh no, Wurzog is actually in the open field, so he gets hit with the curse. It lowers his melee attack, his speed, more importantly his speed, right? He's going to be pretty slow right now, 48. Prey of Anathrama going down, which is going to be brutal. Wurzog taking massive fire from the Way Watchers, but oh no, a big Foot of Gork coming in. The Foot of Gork is going to get dropped right there, and doesn't do a ton of damage, but still a decent amount. It's able to hit those Way Watchers, take out some models, and temporarily disrupt them. But Zablocki responds very quickly using that Earthblood. So very, very solid play by both players here. But the Baconator looks like he's in a little bit of trouble. The Way Watchers are going to unleash another massive volley. This is going to do so much damage into the Baconator. And yeah, he's going to be running for the hills right now. The Glade Lord can obviously chase him off, but it looks like he's shattered, so you don't really need to waste too many other resources. So the Wood Elves are able to kind of drag the Greenskins through the mud a little bit. They're able to kind of put waves and waves in, and slowly and surgically pick them apart using the Way Watchers as well as the Prey of Anathrama, which is definitely very cool. And also using these Sisters of Thorn and their magic debuffs with the curse. And the Sisters are actually really good to, they seem to be really strong at counter-skirmishing a lot of these Greenskins. They're able to intercept and fight them, and of course have the ability of trading with their ranged tools. So the Green Tide in the back line pretty much shattered off here. Forest Goblin Spider Riders and these Death Creepers are offline. There is a pocket of Greenskin Infantry, the Squig Herds, and it looks like Night Goblins and Orc Boys still fighting here. And they are probably going to be able to beat these Azrai Spears, but I think just the sheer volume of fire that's left, the Way Watchers here can kind of pick them apart. The Glade Lord can also rear charge them and break their leadership. And I think that's going to be it. I think we're going to be going to Game 3. So that's Game 2 for Zablocki. The Wood Elves are going to take the victory over the Greenskins. And that was a fierce cockfight for sure. Foot of Gork was pretty cool, but Zablocki reacted very quickly and was able to pull away from the center mass of that Foot of Gork. So right now we just have some of the lads fighting. You can see the Night Goblins here have 110 models left, give or take. And yeah, that's going to be it. They are unbreakable, of course, but that's all she wrote. Man. So the Wood Elves taking Game 2 there. Zablocki, of course, going to his favorite pick. But remember, this is a best of 3, and you can't play the same race twice in a single match in one of these best of 3s, right? So Zablocki is going to have to play someone else here. So let's go ahead and update the scoreboard and see what he picks. That was a Beautiful Wood Elf play. He was able to like layer it, support his back line. He was always shifting away from the pressure and covering his retreat. It was very, very solid. So very well played to Zablocki there. So let's get the glorious Wookiee up, and we'll let the guys go to their last one here. GG. Game 3. That was a nice combo with Foot of Gork. Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, that was a great game. Yeah, so for anyone who wants to watch a very high-level Wood Elf play, just watch Zablocki play. He's very good at them. So what he was doing with his archers, for anyone who's new to the game, maybe haven't played too much multiplayer, on any missile units, there's a tooltip on the bottom that says fire at will, where the unit essentially just fires whenever it gets in range or something. Now, with units like Way Watchers, where every volley is precious, they don't have the most, obviously they run out of ammunition, they're expensive, but if you can really optimize your firing with them and do it manually. So he clicks it off, they only shoot when he gives them an attack order, and then he takes the attack order off. He like moves them again to make sure they don't keep shooting at the same target unless he wants to. He's very, very good at that, for sure. You guys want Grimgore Ironhide? Need some dreaded black coach? Let's see. So painful on Sisters. Need to pilot that build more often. Think has a good shot with more practice on my part. It was a great game. Yeah. Or gentlemen's. Up to you two. Hey, what's going on, Nano? Thank you guys so much for joining today. It's definitely been a pretty fun stream so far. We've had some ferocious cockfights. Wookiee does not have an Instagram. I'll perhaps talk to Lady Turin about maybe setting one up if you guys would be interested. I don't know. Could be funny. You binged on the whole ESL to catch up? Glad to hear that, Sean. A lot of times when you're streaming onto YouTube, even if you like upload it as like, you know, good quality, it's still going to look a little bit pixelated. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. So Zablocki is banning vampire accounts, which is vampire accounts definitely a top tier faction. Oh, I better let them know. Also can't play same base twice in a B. Gotta let them know that they can't play the same ones over. It's to kind of encourage faction diversity and things like that. Because we don't want someone to just play the same race like 3 times in a row, right? It's more fun to watch like people, you know, try different things out. Yeah, Dov, you're certainly right. Going wide is very powerful. I agree. Yeah, they're thinking right now. The plot thickens as the players tactically ban. I mean, banning the Wood Elves could have been good, right? But again, you can't like, you alternate in the picking and banning, so you don't just get to ban like someone's race every single time. I love playing Vampire Coast. If I were to be entering into these tournaments, I would probably play Vampire Coast, Warriors of Chaos, and either Beastmen or Vampire Counts. Those would probably be Chaos and Vampire Coast are actually my best factions right now, I would say. Wookiee does look like an Ewok. I believe that George Lucas actually mentioned that I think the inspiration for his Ewoks was from the Brussels Griffin breed, which I believe Wookiee is actually a descendant of, so yeah. Wookiee is a great unclean one. I actually have like a Warhammer 40k gaming table in my living room, and I put Wookiee up on it, and I was like, oh, the great unclean one rises. I'll have to get a picture of that for you guys. Hey, we got Dean Winchester. Oh, I love me some Supernatural. Yeah, it's a fun show. Oh, Vampire Coast vs. Tomb Kings. Oh, hell yeah. He's going Tomb Kings and banning Dwarves. This is going to be a fun mashup. Oh, I love Kansas. Carry On My Wayward Son is a great song. I saw them live. Well, it was a cover band, but close enough. It was at the Ventura County Fair many years ago. Oh my God. Oh yes, we got the Vampirates facing off against the Tomb Kings. I think this is a very fun matchup for sure. It is very fun. I don't know. Zablocki, I mean, there's deck gunners, there's so many ways to play. There's cannons. The Colossus, I think, is very powerful in this matchup as well. Yeah, I'll try and play more Skaven games. I only play Death Guard in 40k, so I got into Warhammer 40,000 about a year ago now. Italian Spartacus gave me the Death Guard half of the Dark Imperium starter box, so from there I just went balls deep. And now I have about 3,000 points of Death Guard, about 2,000 fully painted up. So yeah, I mainly just play Death Guard right now. Eventually I'll get into Age of Sigmar. Just whenever they release like something that's the equivalent of Bretonnia or the Empire, I'll probably get into Age of Sigmar, but until then I'm not going to play it. I just want to use the old Karl Franz model. You know, I think that'd be cool. Zablocki is picking Coast into Tomb Kings, it looks like. I'm not sure, Shetland. They were working it out in chat, so. Yeah, Zablocki picked Vampire Coast into Tomb Kings. It looks like it. I think that's fine. I think Vampire Coast has a great matchup here. I mean, Vampire Coast is so strong. I think it's a fair matchup. I don't think it's bad. I think both factions have tools against one another. When we shop to Great Bows, Colossus, Carrion are really good at harassing. I mean, they both have tools. Yeah. Once my army's fully painted up, I'll make a video showing you guys all of my models and everything. I painted about 70% of my army, and my wife painted the rest. She's a much better painter than me, Lady Turin. But I did paint out most of my army, even with my hand problems. But I had to stop recently because my hands are getting worse, so I can't really paint anymore right now. It's really frustrating. Yeah, they have a free guild, and but I want them to get like a full codex and be more fleshed out. I mean, personally, I love playing Vampire Coast here. I mean, your chaff is so cheap and efficient, and I mean, you have like, I really think the key to success here is the Necrofex Colossus. Like, it's so damn good. Like, it's just, oh man, it wrecks constructs. It's just so tough to kill. I mean, Ushopti Great Bows can do a pretty good job, but it can trade right back with them, especially if you have cannon support. I mean, there's so many different ways to play it, though. I mean, I guess it's kind of a, you know, Count Noxus is just a beast. This matchup is dead on arrival. That's pretty good. My favorite Vampire Coast Lord or Vampire Count? Vampire Count? I mean, thematically, probably, yeah. I like Vlad von Karstein a lot, but in multiplayer, I don't know. I like Manfred quite a bit. The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is super strong. Strigoi Ghoul King is pretty hilarious as well, but he's not very good in my opinion. Well, we've seen quite a few lizards in the past couple weeks, just not today. So just making sure I have the block rep and everything. So. All right, it's showtime. Looks like both players are ready. So we're starting off our stream with a fierce best of 3 between Zablocki and Hadries. The winner, of course, will be moving on to the finals today to face the winner of the second half of the bracket. So all of these Eternal Challenger Leagues are going to be 2 best of 3s followed up by a best of 5 finals. And the winner will be earning a piece of 8 to qualify for the grand finals of Season 1. So that is the structure, guys. And yes, I agree with Fritz to make sure to hit that like button if you guys are enjoying the stream. It does help out quite a bit and makes me sleep better at night. Yes. There is a Lamian Vampire Lord. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It has like some defensive debuffs and stuff. I don't think it's that great. I think the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord and the Von Karstein, I think, are by far the best choices. Von Karstein has a really good bounce spell. And the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord has like Helm of Discord and just like some of the best dueling abilities in the entire game, which makes sense. But Helm of Discord is pretty damn strong. It might be, I don't know. Yeah, that item is pretty insane. Yeah, Jellin, do you have a point? Absolutely. So let's see what Zablocki's got up his sleeve as the Vampire Coast facing off against Hadries and his Tomb Kings. This is game 3, boys. All the marbles are on the line. The winner will be going on to play a best of 5 finals. No, I don't drink soda. I don't eat pizza, really. I eat pretty healthy. I mean, I drink a lot of coffee, but aside from that, I don't really have any bad vices. All right, guys, so for the forces, let's go and look at the Tomb Kings first. It looks like we're going to have a Bone Giant. Oh, my God. So we have a Bone Giant here for the Tomb Kings and Hadries, which is going to be incredibly fun. I wish we had a Colossus now so we could actually see how the Bone Giant trades against a Colossus. That'd be really fun to see. On top of that, we do have the Chosen of the Gods, and we have a Screaming Skull Catapult. What year is this? I do not know what dimension we live in. what planet this is, but it looks like we're going to see a Screaming Skull Catapult. Maybe it's going to be like leadership bombing some of these units. And I guess against like deck gunners, it's pretty good because it does magic damage against the ethereal deck gunners. So maybe he's expecting those guys. Another Screaming Meme Catapult here on the far side from Hadri's. Oh my god, this is insanity. He does have Arc in the Black for his Lord, so that's normal. Spirit Leech and Soul Blight. Soul Blight, of course, very good against, you know, in the sustained infantry fight. Tomb Guard Legion, Skeleton Spearmen, a couple groups in Headcar Horsemen. But really, the core of his army is going to be the Screaming Meme Catapults. He does also have the Chosen of the Gods, the Bone Giant, a couple groups of Carrion as well, which are so good. Carrion just killed deck gunners, the cannon crews. They are just very, very powerful against the Vampire Coast. So I am quite eager to see how the Bone Giant plus the Screaming Meme Catapult is going to do in this game. This is going to be insane. I don't know what Zablocki can do against such reckless hate. So for the forces of the Vampirates, it looks like there's going to be a front line of the Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs. There's going to be a couple groups of Depth Guard with polearms. Now, I think they're a little bit suboptimal. I personally think you just go with the Zombie Deckhand mobs. You can get like 3 or 4 of them for the cost of these guys. But even still, I'm eager to see if they work. I personally don't think they're the best choice. Like, Ushabti Great Bows and the Catapults can kill them pretty quick probably. But yeah, we'll see how the Depth Guard with polearms do. I haven't seen them really used in competitive play all that much. Aside from that, Zablocki does have Deck Gunners, Shade Wraith Gunners here, and 2 more groups of Deck Gunners. So the Shade Wraith Gunners, I mean, that's a lot of armor piercing. If all of them are able to get in range of the Bone Giant and the Ushabti Great Bows, they can definitely burn them down very, very quickly with that focus fire. Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs with polearms in the back line. So yeah, he's not lacking in these. So he just has a ton of anti-large, probably expecting some heavy construct play. And for his Lord, he's got a Vampire Fleet Admiral with the Lore of Vampires with the Invocation of Heck and Drowned Dead. And he also has a Gunnery Wight. So the Gunnery Wight's going to be dropping some hot buffs and more powder. This is going to be a really fun game. We have a Gunnery Wight. We have the Screaming Skull Catapults and a competitive environment. This is going to be awesome. So yeah, guys, it's showtime. It's showtime. This is going to be a really fun game. I mean, it might work here, especially against the Shade Wraith Gunners, who, of course, do have really good physical resist. They're going to get melted, like, instantly by a Screaming Skull Catapult. So I am really actually excited to see how this game goes out. The Bone Giant doesn't have too many good targets. I mean, he could just try and snipe out the Gunnery Wight or some of those other units. But, yeah, we'll see. Start when ready. And it's showtime. And again, big thanks to all of you guys for joining today. It's always a pleasure hanging out with my friends here on YouTube. And the Eternal Challenger League qualifier is underway. Yeah. So Aerocrastic in chat has a great point that the Screaming Skull Catapult does, of course, have some leadership attributes where when it hits something, it breaks their leadership. It doesn't break it, but it lowers it pretty substantially. And the Vampire Coast does have pretty low leadership across the board. So the Deck Gunners with a massive opening salvo right there, taking out a lot of those Carrion, definitely doing some okay work. And it looks like the Carrion are going to be swooping into the trees, as well as the Neckar Horsemen. Everyone's going to be advancing. But the Catapult, I don't know, it's a little bit obstructed here, but it might be able to shoot through the trees. So let's see. The first volley's coming in, and it's going to be hitting the Deck Gunners here in the back. And does it crumble them? It doesn't look like it crumbles them immediately, but the Deck Gunners are just going to be unleashing hell on that Screaming Skull Catapult. So that thing's going to be in a little bit of trouble, but it looks like the Tomb Kings do have a bit of a split-up formation, right? Like half their force is over here, the other half is over here as well. So getting a little bit wild. The Deck Gunners, of course, getting the Enhanced Ballistics, which is going to buff their accuracy. Carrion are going to be swooping in, so the Carrion are going to be chewing on these Deck Gunners here, and they're actually doing massive damage. Man, those Carrion are laying a whooping. So the Halberd shambling in, Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs, and it looks like the Bone Giant shooting in as well. And these Deck Gunners with the Invocation of the Heck are trying their best. It looks like they have killed one Screaming Skull Catapult, but at the cost of these Deck Gunners, right? They're very beat up. These Carrion are swooping in, and this is just such a ridiculous game. The Bone Giant, of course, shooting in as well. It looks like Zablocki might be able to stabilize them. No, they actually crumble out. So he lost 2 full groups of those guys just to Carrion and Screaming Skull Catapult harass. And man, this is just going to be a fierce one for sure. So in the back, Arc in the Black is just kind of lurking. And you can see how his formation is like super staggered, right? And knowing the Zompires are slow, he's going to force them to march forward. And the whole time he's going to be just unleashing massive damage. So, yeah, 2 Deck Gunners. He really needs to keep these guys alive. So he's going to be fighting off the Carrion. The Halberds are kind of piling in. Screaming Skull Catapult is actually going to be shooting. And the Bone Giant is actually doing surprising damage. You can see this guy's crumbling, Carrion going in. So it looks like there's going to be a bit of an alpha strike from Hadri's and the Tomb Kings here. And the Zompirates in a little bit of a pickle here. I mean, they seem a little bit lost. They definitely should advance and probably start fighting. I mean, I don't know, though. I mean, Tomb Guard are going to be able to spank these Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs. The 4 Deck Gunners were obviously the meat potatoes of the army, right? So Zablocki's force is just getting hammered here by the Screaming Meme Catapult. And obviously the Bone Giant is doing pretty good work. But the Carrion have been the MVPs, for sure. They're pinning down these Deck Gunners. Zablocki has had to use so much Winds of Magic to keep these Shade Wraith Gunners and other troops alive with the Invocations of Nehek. And it looks like he's finally going to finish off the Carrion. The Depth Guard with polearms are still going to be tough, though. They're going to be able to do well against the infantry and probably burn down these constructs eventually. But the Bone Giant and the Catapult, once they finish those, plus Arc in the Black with Spirit Leech, I feel like they should be able to kill these Depth Guard pretty easily. So if we look, the missile attacks are going to be attacking the Vampire Fleet Admiral with polearms here. Now the deck gunners are all in line for the most part, but Nehekar Horsemen are lurking in the back, so Hadri's just non-stop with the pressure here. Things are getting pretty wild. And here come the Shade Wraith Gunners. So these guys are going to be repositioning, but the Ushabti Gapo shooting in. Now Chosen to the Gods don't do magic damage. Okay, for some reason I thought they might do magic damage, but I don't think they do. Tomb Guard in the front line are now going to be fighting, so basically Hadri's is doing this very, you know, I wouldn't say like the onion tactic, but, you know, a little bit of Reaganomics. There's just some trickle-down theory, right? So he's trickling in his infantry. The Vampire Coast is obviously having to fight them, and then they're just being, like, beaten upon by missiles the entire time. But, you know, if the Vampire Coast can actually endure this pressure, I mean, he might be able to run them out of ammunition, right? I mean, Ushabti Grapos are pretty low. The Screaming Skull Catapults, yeah, that one has a lot, though. And the Bone Giant also has, you know, ample ammunition. And a massive summon coming down from Ark in the Black, which is basically going to be a hard counter against these Shade Wraith Gunners. These guys get taken out super quick by the Summoned Skeleton Warriors. I mean, you can see they're at their healing cap. Enhanced Ballistics is not going to help them here. The zombies will be shambling forth to kind of help out a little bit. So a very good play from Ark in the Black so far, just getting in here and disrupting with his summons. And the Screaming Meme Catapult still dropping some pressure. Doesn't have the most kills, but it's been that kind of perpetual thorn in the side of the Vampire Coast here. Also, another thing to note, the Bone Giant, excuse me, does actually do magic damage. So the magic damage there is actually pertinent against the Shade Wraith Gunners, but there's not much firepower left. I mean, this one group of deck gunners has 10 models. They're crumbling rapidly. The other one is crumbling as well. So the firepower of the Vampire Coast is about to be gone. I mean, they're going to have nothing, right? It's just going to be zombies versus the world at this point. Balance of power is slightly in the favor of Hadri's, I would say, but it's not enough to kind of give him the game. But he's obviously taken his own losses. His Tomb Guard in the front line are getting worn down. And, you know, his carrion are all gone. And his horsemen, I believe, are pretty much offline as well. So he has had to sacrifice things to get in here. But he's definitely been doing some pretty good work with the Screaming Meme Catapults. If the other one had been a little bit further back, he could have gotten a lot more value for sure. Because they have 380 range. The other one could have outranged the Shade Wraith Gunners instead of being in position there to be in range of them. So Ark in the Black here is taking a very dangerous fight. I mean, he definitely does not want to be here. There's Depth Guard with polearms just kind of chewing him up. And he pops his staff into Gash, but he needs to run. This is not a good situation. I don't think he realizes that there are Depth Guard mixed in here. And if Ark in the Black continues to take this beating, that could easily cost him the game. So he needs to get back here, fall back to his missile pieces, and just start playing a little bit more conservatively. Because Ark in the Black is getting whooped on right now, down to 2,400. As far as the Vampire Coast goes, the Tides of Skuld and other zombies are just kind of marching forward. The Vampire Fleet Captain here, or Admiral, is just going to be spam summoning all day. It looks like the Ushabti summon has been used, so Hadri's using a lot of his tools very early here in the game. Ark in the Black, of course, is going to be falling back and probably dropping a Soul Blight here, which is going to help the Tomb Guard and the other troops fight. And the Screaming Skull Catapult definitely should be shooting at the Depth Guard with polearms. I mean, he needs to get all the pressure he can on these guys because they're going to be tough to kill. They do heal in sustained combat. Over here on the far side, the same thing's pretty much happening. The Depth Guard are a little bit more beat up here. They're down to about half health. The Tomb Guard here have 85 models. Skeleton Spears are in okay shape as well. And it looks like the Chosen of the Gods are now out of ammunition, so they might as well go in and fight. And the Bone Giant's going to be shooting the gunnery wide, but it looks like Vampire Coast might be slowly grinding their way back into this game. I'm not sure how, but yeah, I don't know. They might be able to. The Bone Giant is going to be tough to take out, but there's tons of halberds here, so if the zombies eventually break past this Tomb King's wall, I mean, they can easily get in there and do some work. It looks like he's trying to shoot the gunnery wide with the Screaming Skull Catapult. He should 100% be shooting right here, like into this blob and just like tar pitting, like hitting this blob, breaking their leadership, and really helping his infantry here. Granted, maybe he's afraid of friendly fire, but right as I say that, he does shoot in there, starts going after those guys, which is going to be good. In the back, we have a cockfight. It looks like the Vampire Fleet Admiral with the polearm was actually chasing down Ark in the Black. Ark in the Black needs to be careful. Spirit Leech spam is going to be really good here. So Spirit Leech going down on the Vampire Fleet Admiral, that's going to bring him down to less than 1,000 HP. And the Balance of Power is actually now evening out, so it's pretty much dead even as the Bone Giant does run out of ammunition. Chosen of the Gods in a very desperate fight here. They're actually going to be attacking the Depth Guard with polearms. They have pretty good AP. They're going to take a lot of damage themselves, but the Von Horstman's Speculum has been used as well to lower their combat stats. And the polearm guy's going to go in there and get down and dirty. So what a battle here. The Ark in the Black, though, something he doesn't realize, I don't think, is he's taking a massive amount of damage from the Gunnery White. So the Gunnery White pulls his sword, and they're going to have a duel right here. Ark in the Black is really beat up, though. The Gunnery White has just perpetually shot him. So the ranged just firepower from this guy, I think he has like 400 plus weapons rank, give or take, on his gun. No, it's 367, which is still pretty good. Hornswoggle going down as well from the Vampire Fleet Admiral. And it looks like Chosen of the Gods are going to be pouring through as well. But the Depth Guard are hot on their tail. And man, we have a close game right here. I can't believe this is actually turning out to be so tight. So the Vampire Coast here is actually able to break off a lot of these Tomb Guard. It looks like Ark in the Black is getting in here and fighting. But he might want to just fall back now and use Spirit Leech from a safe distance because he is like in the danger zone. Oh man, he is taking quite a bit of work from that Gunnery White. So here the Depth Guard are going to be falling back. Chosen of the Gods are actually going down, and it looks like another Skeleton Summon going down as well. The Bone Giant is now here. Just a desperate fight in this best of 3 match. This is it, guys. So the Vampire Fleet Admiral's getting chewed up pretty bad, and it looks like he has fallen. So Zablocki just has his Gunnery White now, and as his Lord does fall there, he really just has, you know, this in terms of leadership and troop quality. I don't know, Arc in the Black is there, and you can see the Gunnery White might be trying to detach to shoot a little bit. The Chosen of the Gods are going to go down. Let's see how he's doing in terms of Depth Guard. So Depth Guard here, looks like they're kind of crumbling. Yeah, I think they have some models up. 27 models on those guys. And here on the far side, it looks like 35 models. Should be able to clean up those Tomb Guard. Man, this is a pretty insane game for sure. Yeah, and Depth Guard do not heal in general, but they do heal when they're in combat. So they have what's called the Hunger, which is something that means if you're fighting in sustained combat and melee, you're going to be healing. So the Gunnery White's back online. He's going to be taking aim with his rifle here, popping the Enhanced Ballistics, probably going to start shooting at the Bone Giant. And this dude has a ton of ammunition, so I mean, if he's left unimpeded, he might be able to kind of wear down that Bone Giant, but oh man, Big Daddy has 9,000 HP. Just look at him just marauding through the lines here. The Tomb Kings just pushing forward. Both armies are basically leaderless at this point, but I think the Tomb Kings are going to just eke this one out. I mean, Arc in the Black hiding in the trees, definitely very solid. Staying out of line of sight of the Gunnery White, and he can obviously drop Spirit Leeches and a lot of other debuffs here. Well, Soul Blight and Spirit Leech, that's pretty much it. But yeah, the Gunnery White's in trouble. The Big Bone Daddy's on the hunt, guys. He's coming for it. 31, 26, and 400. He's going to be hunting down this Gunnery White. And oh, just look at him. He's lowering his head and just marching after this Gunnery White. 38 speed against 32. And man, he is in the wrong neighborhood. The Bone Giants are still not pushovers in melee, right? He's able to just get some huge just power fist action going on that Gunnery White right there. Arc in the Black's coming back as well, knowing the Gunnery White is now being attacked. You could easily drop Spirit Leeches and some other effects here. And it looks like the Tomb Kings are going to pull this one out. I think Hadri's is going to be moving on, but you never want to count him out quite yet. But yeah, that looks like it's going to be it. The Depth Guard here are just, he gave more powder to the Depth Guard. Oh man, what a game. So the Screaming Meme Catapults and the Bone Giant were able to kind of pick apart those Deck Gunners really efficiently. Now, had the Vampire, or the Tomb Kings, just all undead vampire things, had the Tomb Kings actually gone with like a very construct-heavy army, like Tomb Scorpions, Ushoptis, those Deck Gunners would have torn them to pieces. But based on that, with the Catapults and the Bone Giant, he was able to just mulch those things down. Obviously, his Carrion play and his Nehekar Horsemen were able to get in there, and that's going to be it. So man, what a game. Very well played to Hadri's and Zablocki. And that's going to be game one, or not round, but the match is actually going to be going to Hadri's. He's able to win the series 2-1, and it looks like Zablocki is going to be eliminated today. So well played to Hadri's. Beautiful stuff there. So let's go ahead and get ready to jump over to the next match. So for anyone who's watching, the tournament brackets for today, and we are going to go ahead and grab Hadri's. He's going to be moving on to the finals here, and he's going to be facing off against the winner of Rigson and Fly on Bread. Fly on Bread has mentioned that this is one of his first tournaments. He has played a lot of multiplayer and ladder, but this is going to be his debut in tournament play, so it'd be quite a bit of fun to see him in action. And remember, the winner will be earning one of these pieces of 8. So that was quite a battle we had. So let's go ahead and talk to the players real quick, see what's going on. GG. Further down the tourney. Yeah. See you in finals, Hadri's. All right. So let's go ahead and jump over to the next lobby here in just a moment. So we're going to take a quick intermission while we set up the next game. We will be right back. All right, guys, and we are back. We just need to update the scoreboards real quick here. But before we start, we got to give a shout out for a couple very nice and generous donations here. So Austin Horath, thank you for the donation. Your tendonitis seems like a very chaos-like reward for always representing them. Ironic since your job requires your hands and you love chaos. Yeah, I do enjoy chaos as a faction. Little did we know you're a champion of chaos. Well, thank you so much for the donation. Really appreciate it, my friend. And Christopher on PayPal through the Streamlabs. Thank you so much for your donations, your donation. And Luis Reichman. So thank you so much for your very generous donations of 20 euros and $15 there. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And we're here with our second best of three of the day, which is going to be a showdown between Fly on Bread and Rigson. So we just need to update the scoreboard real quick. And from there, we will be good to go. It's going to be a good one. So Fly on Bread, of course, new to the tournament scene. Quite eager to see his debut performance here with the Beastmen facing off against the Vampire Coast. The gold player name is going to be Fly on Bread. Everybody loves flies on their bread, right? Great. Quality stuff. Let's go ahead and get him here. And then Hadri is going to be... I need to find out a more efficient way to update the scoreboards. It's a little bit funky. Oh, that one fit quite perfectly. And let's get the faction blocker up as well. Cool. Start when ready. So yeah, Beastmen versus Vampire Coast is going to be quite a bit of fun. I think we're going to see some crabs or some colossus, maybe some Deathstreak Terror guys, things like that. Definitely a lot of potential here for the matchup. Yes. You guys like the song? Oh my god. Yeah, it's Morning Mood is the name of the song. I love that kind of music. It's so great. Drew Johnson, thank you for the fat $20 donation. Once more into the breach, dear friends, once more. Of course. I mean, I suppose this map could have a breach, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Drew. I have a cousin named Drew, actually. Quality name, for sure. So, Beastmen versus Vampire Coast here. Fly on Bread, of course, being very tactical. He actually had his army saved, and then he picked it at the last second just to make sure there was no chance of him being stream sniped. He just loaded it and hit the start button. It's go time. So I definitely like the way he's going. Christopher, thank you so much for the donation as well here on the YouTube. Just got a Defiler for my Death Guard army. You know, Defiler is one of the few units I don't actually have in my Death Guard roster, so I don't really know how efficient they are. I prefer... I think it could probably be made to be good depending on the build, but I personally am a huge fan of the fetid bullet drones as well as the plague burst crawlers. We're just using the flamethrowers on those. They're really good in 40k. But yeah, once I finish painting most of my army, I will be doing a video on my 40k army and everything like that. And when Italian Spartacus is eventually ready, I think he still is assembling some stuff. We're eventually going to play some 40k probably here on the channel. Italian's been playing 40k for a long time, so it'll be really fun to have his insight on it and everything. And here we are, guys. It's showtime. Big thanks to all of you guys for joining on this Sunday afternoon. I know for some of you folks over in Europe, in the UK, it's probably about 9 o'clock now. Central and Eastern Europe, 10, 11 range, so hopefully it's not too bad for you guys, and we'll try and get things moving along. The intermission song is Morning Mood, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, I love my Death Guard army. I love playing those guys. I don't play like super... I mean, it's a competitive enough list. It has some competitive elements, like the Demon Prince of Nurgle with wings, you know, a lot of demon engines, but I also have a very casual side to my Death Guard list where I use 40 Poxwalkers and Typhus, which is one of my favorites. I just love having like a haggard zombie horde shambling towards your opponent. It's so much fun. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, I thought about like maybe reaching out to a channel like Mini Wargaming and just like maybe playing a battle report at their office so they would like be able to edit it and have the quality recording equipment. Because I don't really have a good camera aside from my webcam, right? Which I can't use to record tabletop battles. But anyways, so as far as the match goes, we're going to be having the Fly on Bread. Did I get rid of my screen blocker? I'm always like paranoid I left it up there. Okay, we're good. So we're going to have Fly on Bread leading the forces of the Beastmen. And he's going to be bringing Malagor the Dark Omen. Looks like he does have not all of the spells, but he does have quite a few. On top of that, he does have 2 Gorbles. Big Daddy Gorbles are quite good against some of the big monsters. They're good against the crabs. They're good against the Colossus. So definitely not a bad pick here. The Gorbles can definitely do some work against the vampires. Aside from that, Fly on Bread does have, let's see, yeah, so he's setting up his front line here. He's getting the Ungor Spears just in the front. Looks like aside from that, Gore Herds and one group of Bestigor Herds, which I like that he brought one, because it does kind of keep the Vampire Coast honest. If they have like Depth Guard, Bestigors can really do a ton of damage against them. So I like that he brought one of those. On top of that, he does have Centaurs with throwing axes and standard Centaurs, and it looks like he does have some Chaos Warhounds over here. On top of that, a couple groups of Harpies, which is a very solid play as well. They're going to be able to deal with deck droppers and chase them into the Shadow Realm. Granted, there can be Overwatch fire from the low ground, but I really do think the Harpies are a solid pick here. So yeah, good army. I like it. The one thing I would maybe change is just maybe bringing like 1 or 2 less spells on Malagor, but maybe he wasn't sure what his opponent was going to bring, so he wants to have an answer for everything, just depending on the circumstances. And it doesn't cost that much. So yeah, that's it for the Beastmen army. Austin, thank you for the donation. It's keeping you sane on duty. Yeah, man, come hang out. Make sure to join the Discord. I mean, we unfortunately, I would love to play more games with everyone, but I can only play 3 or 4 games a day tops because of my hand problems. So, but yeah, come join the Discord. There's a lot of good people there. It's an awesome community. The multiplayer community for Total War in general is just freaking awesome. So for the army of Rigson, so it looks like in the front line, yeah, it does have zombie powered deckhand mobs with polearms combined with just standard deckhand mobs. They'll do okay. They're obviously eventually going to lose to Goreherds and Beskors, but they'll tarp it. They do their job. Count Noctilus on foot has Invocation and the Drowned Dead. And it looks like he has a pretty decent little high ground position back here. He does have the Night Terrors. So he has the Terrors in the Night, the Arawar of the Mournguls. These guys are definitely pretty scary. They'll chew up Bestigors very, very quick. They have the Hunger, they cause terror, but they do Rampage. So there is a bit of a downside to those guys. Rotting Leviathan. Large single entity monsters are typically tough for Beastmen to take down, but Big Daddy Gorbel is up to the task for sure. The black spot here, a cannon. Looks like some halberds protecting it. 2 groups of the deck droppers with handguns, and that is pretty much it. So very solid army here. The Beastmen obviously have some sneaky tactics. Look at this. Ungor is being actually vanguarded in the shadows here. Oh, and look at this. There's actually going to be a vanguard of the Centaurs. So they could potentially do some charging and some pressure, but the guns here are going to be ready for them. I mean, deck droppers obviously can, do pretty well against these guys. So we'll see how it goes. Go. But I can't swim. Yeah, there is the aquatics attribute coming into play here. Javik, thank you for becoming a member here on the channel. And yeah, for anyone who's interested, you can join as a member. I think it's like $3 or $4 a month or something, and you get access to some emojis and some other things here in chat. So thank you so much. And then we also have one from before we get started here from Jeremias, just cheering for the roomie. Oh, he's your roommate playing right now? Oh, right on. Okay, that's cool, man. Hopefully your roommate is able to do pretty well here. All right, so the forces of the Beastmen are going to be advancing through the water. And yeah, if the Vampire Coast wanted to fight here, they would get the aquatics buff. I'm pretty sure this is this is enough water to actually penalize these small infantry. That might have actually not been a bad idea for him to fight here, because his troops would have, had the advantage there. But regardless, he's still going to pull him back a little bit further and kite him. And yeah, the guns are in decent position. Although honestly, the black spot here is a little bit line of sight blocked. Anytime you're using the guns, you want to always look. And yeah, they're not going to be able to shoot a whole lot. So the positioning here, I definitely would like to see him up here on a hill or maybe on the lip right here and have the infantry a little bit more forward. So it looks like there's going to be a Cygor summon in the back, and the Harpies are going to be moving in. They need to shut down these deck droppers because they're going to kill Big Daddy Gorbel very, very quickly. You can see he's having to scurry and run. Cygor's going to be dropping some hot boulders. Maybe he's just going to throw out the Leviathan. And it also looks like Fly on Bread is going to be moving up his Centaurs on the flank, and he does have some Poison Hounds. Or standard hounds. So the Chaos Warhounds are going to be charging into the cannon. A little bit risky because it is protected by the Carronade. It looks like the Night Terrors are going to be moving in, but I think he's going to try and force path his way through, and it still could potentially shut down the cannon. You could actually see it get some decent damage on the cannon crew, even though it was being protected. And it also does open up the back line for Centaurs and other troops to get through. Now, the frontline engagement is underway. You can see that the Beastmen, Spear Herds are going to be fighting here. It also looks like there was a summon coming down from Count Noctilus to kind of tar pit Malagor. So he actually surrounds Malagor with the summon, which is pretty crazy. But the Harpies of the Beastmen, very good stuff here from Fly on Bread. He's able to get those guys on the deck droppers, just chase those guys into the Shadow Realm. But these throwing axes, they need to get on the crab. They need to get on some of these bigger targets. So maybe move them up and around, start poking the crab a little bit. In the back line, the Beastmen are just circling and harassing. It looks like the vanguard of the Ungors have come from the distance. They're going to be collapsing, attacking these zombie pirate gunnery mobs. Big Daddy Gorbel is coming as well, and you can see that the Centaur is charging in, doing a beautiful job here in the back line. So the Vampire Counts, or Vampire Coast, a little bit compromised here in the back line. Things are getting wild, but they still do have a lot of power. They have their crab, they have the Night Terrors, and the crab is going to slap these guys up, and the Terrors in the night are going to come. And even if they rampage, oh my goodness, just a brutal charge, just absolutely crunching a massive horde of those Ungors right there. And it looks like the Harpies are still doing a really good job just chasing down these deck droppers. The Big Daddy Cygor in the back is still throwing his boulders. But it looks like Noctilus has been able to break this formation right here of Ungor Spears. So the bounce fire is pretty even. I don't think there's a massive advantage for either player. It's still going to be very tough to take down the Terrors in the night, or the Night Terrors, the Terrors in the night, as well as his Rotting Leviathan. Gorbel's going back here. He's going Mission Impossible, trying to take this guy down. He does pop the Deadly Onslaught, but he's a little bit surrounded by just chaff. But the Bestigors are charging back in the second Gorbel. So Gorbel is going to be a hard counter against the Night Terrors. So this is looking a little bit tough for the Vampire Coast right out of the gates. I mean, they have their cannons, they have some guns online. The Gorbel's dropping some boulders on those guys, but the Harpies have been able to kill the skies. Malagor, however, is a little bit in some trouble here. He's fully surrounded by zombies. Malagor did get buffs to his combat stats recently, so I think he got a buff level like 10 melee defense, give or take. So Fly on Bread doing a pretty good job pressuring the back line, just swarming with the bestial hordes. So the Gorbals in the back are just annihilating the Night Terrors. The Night Terrors are being taken apart by the Gorbals and their anti-large. And the big crab's in a little bit of trouble too. And honestly, the Night Terrors don't have the best defensive stats, and even like Chaffee units can eventually wear them down over sustained combat if they're being swarmed. So if we take a look at the big overhead view of the battlefield here, you can see the Beastmen are definitely swarming in. It seems like in every area of the battlefield they're doing pretty well. Harpies have swarmed in here to attack these zombie-powered gunnery mobs. They're able to kind of shut those guys down temporarily. Ungors are coming in. In the back, the cannon for the Vampire Coast is still online, but the crab is going down. I think that the Beastmen are probably going to slowly grind this game out. Granted, Count Noctis is still alive, and the bounce power is partially falsely inflated because of the Cygor. The Cygor in the back obviously is going to be deteriorating, but I think Malagor probably has another one. He could easily summon another Cygor over here, which would be pretty powerful. So right here, the crab is going down. The Gorbals are just chasing it, doing a ton of damage. 2,500 HP, down to 22 as the Gorbal does a fat somersault into it. Centaurs are throwing axes. He was able to move them, get them in position, and he's doing some pretty good work here. But Count Noctis is going to be charging in with his halberd. He's going to be attacking the Gorbals, potentially able to disrupt with his anti-large. He 100% should attack that Gorbal for sure. Noctis is a very good anti-large kind of a duelist here. But the crab is running, Rotting Leviathan, negative 21 leadership. It's going to be falling back to the black spot and actually reversing sides. The Cygor in the back could easily probably throw some boulders at it, maybe finish him off. And it looks like the battle's still pretty damn even. I don't know how the Vampire Coast is staying in this one. They're looking very tattered, but I guess the summons from Noctilus are really kind of helping to carry them home. And if Noctilus is able to kind of goon out the Gorbals and eventually finish those guys off, maybe he could pull out a miracle here. So the Vestigor herds are chewing up the infantry. They have 116 kills. That's pretty good. On top of that, Harpies are going to be attacking this cannon here. These Harpies were able to fully finish off those guns here on the far side with the support of the Ungor Spearman herds. And it looks like the crab's leadership has stabilized, so maybe the Vampire Coast is going to be able to stabilize here using Noctilus into summons. And he's actually really dueling the Gorbal quite well. He has a massive halberd, really good combat stats, and obviously can heal himself. So Gorbal's in a bit of trouble. I mean, he should definitely get out of there. I mean, man, losing him to Noctilus is going to be a pretty tough situation. In the meantime, the Rotting Leviathan is very, very low. It has about 1,000 HP. Gorbal's going to be karate chopping it with his axe. Centaurs have charged in, and they're not the great weapon Centaur, but they're still going to be able to do some pretty good work here, just kind of poking them down, right? So the Rotting Leviathan, tanking heavily in leadership, probably going to be crumbling in a matter of seconds. This Gorbal will probably be back. So, but yeah, Vampire Coast summons are really doing a ton of work. I mean, Noctilus is able to just spam the summons all day, and it's really starting to wear down the Beastmen here. And even though they're able to compromise, you know, the Vampire Coast lines, Rickson has done a very good job actually keeping his Leviathan alive despite the pressure. 715, negative 19, 8-5, and it looks like it's going to stabilize here. So the crab is going to be charging into these Bestigors and some of these Gore herds. Malagor, you got to get in there with those turkey wings and start whipping on this Leviathan, because it looks like the Vampire Coast is going to pull this one back, which is an amazing comeback. So Fly on Bread here is able to get a great charge. He's able to charge the Carronade and disrupt it a little bit. Maybe make it crumble. Doesn't look like it. And it looks like Count Noctilus is going to be using the Wraith Storm coming up from the skies here. There's an opening. It makes enough sense. And it's going to take those guys out pretty hard. You can see the Centaurs actually waver, and they're probably going to break there. So the Gorbals are a little bit in some trouble now. I mean, they're going after the crab. They have it down to 188 HP. And it looks like the Rotting Leviathan is indeed going to fall, but I don't know if they're going to have enough stopping power to kill Count Noctilus. I mean, Noctilus is so scary. He has 4,000 HP, he is tanky, he has a ton of armor, and yeah, aside from Gorbals, I don't know if there's a lot to deal with him, right? And, I mean, Vampire Coast doesn't have much left either. This is a very close battle, and it really looked like the Vampire Coast was in a ton of trouble in the beginning, but Count Noctilus and being able to keep that crab alive for so long, I think have done him done some pretty good work for him. So in the meantime, the Harpies are going to be swooping in to attack the cannon. They're able to shut down the cannon, and it looks like they're going to crumble and destroy it. And the bounce power creeping back towards the Beastman's favor. So what a back and forth game here. These Gorbals, if I were him, I would probably pull the Gorbals back, kill everything on the map. Just run from Noctilus, kill everything you possibly can before coming in for an Alpha Strike. Because Noctilus probably has like 1 or 2 more summons in him, and it looks like he might have just used 1 right here. Although it looks like these might have been the ones from before. But the Gorbal's just in this 2v1. Oh man, this Gorbal has 99 HP, and he's still fighting somehow. Noctilus is probably going to be able to take him down, or the deckhand mobs with their prison shanks in the back. He's down to 59 HP. This Gorbal is still trying his hardest to get him down, and what a close fight. This is insanity. Oh, but Centaurs, the throwing axes, still have a lot of ammo, so they could probably kite Noctilus. I mean, he should just kill everything. Just kite. Go fight the other targets, maybe leave the Bestigors to fight him, but oh man, those deckhand mobs are just doing so much work. In the meantime, the black spots here are offline. Centaurs are coming back. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what the Beastmen have coming back. So 59 HP on this Gorbal. He's probably not going to come back, and there's not much left on the battlefield aside from what you see here in the center pocket. I mean, this is just as close as it gets. Malagor, of course, is not a pushover in terms of melee combat. He's getting in there, but these deckhand mobs are really holding firm. If Noctilus doesn't have any more summons, the Beastman might be able to pull this one out, but there's still so many deckhand mobs over here. Noctilus, of course, is tanky. Here comes a rear charge from some Ungors, which certainly will help break their leadership and get them a little bit lower. But yeah, Centaurs with throwing axes should get out and just start poking. But oh no, Malagor actually takes a huge halberd to the face. Gorbel is just 191 HP, and it looks like the Vampire Coast might be able to pull this one out. If Malagor has a Cygor summon, maybe? I don't know, but he's going to be charging in to go Fisticuffs here. So that probably means that he doesn't have enough for a summon. He's going to be charging Noctilus. And of course, Noctilus is a much more powerful combatant in melee. And yeah, he's going to need to run. I mean, there's deckhand mobs everywhere. The Beastmen are looking so tattered. And wow, Rigson is going to pull that game out somehow, some way. I really thought the Beastmen had that one. But he was able to stay firm, you know, keep that crab moving and making it harder for the Gorbals and drag him down. But we got to give it up for Fly on Bread. His first performance here in a tournament, doing a great job against a very experienced tournament player. And you know, those Harpies were really solid. His backline pressure was really good. And man, that was crazy. I think one more Cygor summon could have potentially done it. For sure. Yeah, man, that was a close battle. So very well played to Fly on Bread and Rigson. They're going to be getting ready for their second game here as I update the scoreboard. And that's going to be 1-0 for Rigson. And let's go ahead and get Wookiee. So yeah, if we take a look at the breakdown, I mean, it was really, Noctilus really put that game on his back. The gun line got compromised super hard. And he didn't really have good line of sight. So honestly, he was out a lot of gold. But it was really just the Night Terrors and the Leviathans who had to fight. I mean, the Deck Droppers did nothing. It was really just Noctilus like carrying that game into the sunset. That was a great game for sure. Epic comeback indeed. All right, guys. So we're going to be jumping over to game 2 here. Amazing game. Rigson says, caught me with my pants down at the start. I should have been expecting Vanguarding. All right. And it looks like they're going to be switching maps. I'll make sure they're on the right map here. It's definitely not going to be on the Caverns of the Great Bad as much as they want to play on that map. Man. I'm not sure, Javik. On my screen, it just says the short name. It doesn't say the full name. So you're fine, Javik. It should be fine. Yeah. The match is rigged. I don't know. I don't know whose roommate it was. I think it was Fly on Bread. So I think roommate might have lost. I'm not sure. So Valnir, I think Beastmen actually have a pretty good matchup versus Vampire Coast. I think there was just a couple technical plays that allowed the Vampire Coast to get back in the game for sure. Cavern of the Great Bat. Maybe one of these tournaments I will have like them fight in like just a pit fight in an alley. Yeah, I don't think Vampire Coast is that overpowered. I think they're strong and definitely mid to top tier, but I don't think they're like overpowered by any stretch of the imagination. Troll Country. I love Troll Country. That's one of my favorite maps. Fly on Bread. Fly on Bread will make his glorious comeback right here. Oh, you got it, darling. Lovely lady turn in here. We will be taking an intermission after this best of 3, so. Yeah, Dark Elves are coming. Dark Elves versus Vampire Coast. It's a fun matchup. I actually think Vampire Coast has a pretty good matchup here. They have a lot of tools against the Dark Elves, so we'll see. So the Colossus are very powerful here. They can outrange a lot of the repeater crossbows and things like that. And I honestly think Noctilus plus the second Colossus is super brutal for the Dark Elves to handle. It's really, really tough. Yes, they have Dark Shards and other tools like that. But again, if you have Scurvy Dogs and you have Fellbats, you can usually disrupt them. So. Lizardmen and Vampire Coast. I think Vampire Coast has a slight advantage in that matchup. It's a hard-fought one. Oh, man. All right, guys. This has been a good day so far. Oh, never mind. It looks like we're going to be getting Greenskins. So they were doing their picks and bans. Yeah. Okay. So Greenskins versus Dark Elves. I don't know about this one. I mean, Greenskins are a very powerful faction. They're a very high skill cap faction, I think. Very micro-intensive. You have tons of units in micro. Granted, you can go super narrow and use like Black Orcs and Arachnarok Queens and things like that. But Arachnarok Queen or Spiders. But I think Greenskins can do it. It's going to be tough. I'm excited to see this one. What will the Green Tide bring? And I do have the army blocker up, right? So there's not going to be any of those shenanigans. Yes, I do. We're on top of things today, guys. We're doing good. So remember, guys, anyone The winner of this will be going on to play the finals, and you can take a look at the brackets here. So Hadries has advanced to the finals, and he will be facing either Rigson or Fly on Bread. The winner will be earning one of the pieces of 8 here. The pieces of 8 do qualify them for the grand finals, which will be happening in January most likely. And right now we have Rightist, Flying Taco, Falcon, Pippington, and Exploding Hamster. Yeah, so we got some competitive guys already queued up here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And to answer someone's question earlier, this is not an invitational. It's actually open, so it's pretty much first come, first serve. So within the Discord, we have, let me go ahead. Main screen here. Within the Discord, there's a request section. So you just put your request in, I then put your name on a list, and you eventually will get to play in, if not this season, future seasons. So. Grimgore. You guys want Grimgore? I don't think we're going to see Grimgore. We're probably going to see Wurzog. I don't know. I think vampire counts are really good. I think chaos is super strong. I think elvish factions, dark elves, can be really good in the hands of good players. They're just insane. Grimgore coming in with the steel chair. I would love to see some Grimgore today. You want me to make some physical pieces of 8, Javik, and like send them? With like Wookiee's face etched on it with him wearing like a pirate hat. But in the, yeah, if we have anyone who could drop a Discord link, that would be greatly appreciated. Any mods in here? Yeah, guys. So the grand finals will be in January. It's going to be an 8-man tournament, all-day event, and we're going to have prizes. Lady Turin is actually doing a painting just for that. It's going to be a painting of Wookiee as a vampire coast lord, and we're going to be giving that away in a raffle. There's going to be all kinds of fun stuff going on, for sure. Mark says, hey, Turin, how are your hands? They're not doing so good, actually. But, you know, I can definitely do these streams and a couple battles a day, but they're actually getting worse and worse, so I need to figure something out in the next couple months. Thankfully, you know, hoarding a little bit of cash, and maybe I can go get some stem cell treatment. I don't know. I'm just kind of exploring all that. I think that would help. And if it did help, I would stream for you guys 4 days a week, 5 days a week. Screw it. Thank you, Pharaoh. Really appreciate it, man. So Pharaoh Ward has dropped the link to Discord here. And start when ready. And we'll let the guys know it's showtime. Hey, you're welcome, Jeffrey. Glad you're enjoying the series. Well, Grimgore did get quite a few buffs in the most recent Curse of the Vampire Coast. I think he got plus 15 melee defense, and then also got like 600 mass and a couple other small tweaks. But I think he's going to be reworked eventually. I think eventually he'll like, yeah, get some sort of treatment where like the Greenskin faction as a whole is probably going to get updates to their campaign. He'll probably get some multiplayer buffs. I would imagine, like, I just see that happening someday. Between, like, now and Warhammer 3. I'm so glad Warhammer 3 is happening. No, I can't do Jiu-Jitsu anymore. I had to stop because of my hand, unfortunately. I think Vampire Counts are one of the top tier factions. I think they're, you know, in the top tier. But, and yes, they're much stronger than some of the weaker factions. They just have a lot of really good lords and gooning options. And but, you know, I think they can be beaten for sure. I have tendonitis, and so I have severe. If I know I repeat this on, but some people ask me every stream, so whatever. I'll just explain it to you. So I have mild tendonitis in both shoulders. I have severe biceps head tendonitis in my right bicep, and then my right hand I have severe tendonitis and tendon damage, and then in my left hand I have mild tendonitis. So it's a real piece of shit. Trust me. All right, guys, so we are here in the second game between Fly on Bread, who's going to be facing off against Rigson. So a very close game between the Vampirates and the Beastmen. Fly on Bread narrowly losing that game. He almost had it. It was a very, very good match. But Rigson is going to be pulling out the big guns. He's going to be playing Dark Elves, and Dark Elves are pretty damn scary. Granted, Greenskins do have the tools to beat them, but it's going to be a cockfight for sure. So for the forces of the Dark Elves and Rigson, it looks like there's going to be a Supreme Sorceress with the Lore of Death. He does have Spirit Leech. And for the rest of his forces, it's going to be Dread Spears, a very combination force. So he actually has the Blades of the Blood Queen, probably to fight Black Orcs. He has a couple of Dread Spears just as chaff and high melee defense. And then Sisters of Slaughter. So yeah, pretty diverse, like, meat grinder army. This is a very aggressive force. 2 groups of Dark Shards as well. Now, he does have some protection for the backline. He has a couple Dread Spears, so he should be able to protect his forces. And it looks like his Supreme Sorceress is also going to be on a Manticore. So, yeah, this is going to be a wild one. And on top of that, he does have a Reaper Bolt Thrower. So Reaper Bolt Thrower is probably a good pick because a lot of times greenskins will like get a little bit cheeky and bring like an Arachnoid Queen or something. And even against trolls and biggins and different things like that, the Reaper Bolt Thrower isn't a bad choice. So just bringing one. It also forces the greenskins to come to you. So you can kind of sit, you can position, and force them to, you know, take the initiative. So for the green tide, Orc Boys in the front line, just going to be the chaff, going to be taking the beating for Gork and Mork. On the flanks, there's going to be some Night Goblins. It looks like a lot of archers here in the back line. So Night Goblin archers, the Rusty Arrows, 2 groups of Black Orcs, Nasty Skulkers in the deep reserve. So if the back line does get compromised, he's going to have that Smoke Bomb and some other supporting elements. However, it looks like the Dark Elves are not going to be putting any pressure on the greenskins. They're mainly just going to be sitting and just taking that fisticuffs fight, which is going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see how that goes. Orc Boar Boy Biggins in the back, the Broken Tusk Mob, which have 90 armor, and they also do have immunity to psychology. So it looks like there's going to be a Goblin Big Boss, and on top of that, it looks like the Baconator is going to be here with Foot of Gork, There We Go, and all of his other buffs. So both players have good armies. I'm really excited to see how this goes. Just my inflammation and other stuff came from wear and tear. I was super reckless with weightlifting. I got in a car accident that really smashed my whole right arm and hand when I was younger. So that was a big part of it. And I used to like lift weights. I played high school football. My hand got really messed up. I was running back and my hand used to get jammed all the time. So it's like, it was weird. I was like very fit and strong until one day I just overworked, and one day I woke up and I didn't have any grip for like 3 or 4 months, and I had to get God, that was horrible. But that was a long time ago. But it's just wear and tear and damage and a couple accidents and things like that. Yeah, thank you for the donation there, bud. Really appreciate it, Austin. Oh, give me that Jaime Lannister golden hand. I'll take it. But yeah, as far as predictions go, let me make sure they're not waiting me. Start when ready. Yeah, this is going to be a good fight. I really like the Orc Boys in the front line just to take the initial beating from the Sisters and Harganeth, and the Black Orcs following up the Wob. He does have a pretty good missile pressure to shoot down Harganeth Executioners with the Rusty Arrows, and also to pressure the Supreme Sorceress. Granted, Fated Unit is going to be super punishing on the Black Orcs. Black Orcs are really going to have to do most of the heavy lifting because that Dark Elf infantry force is very, very powerful. Especially when the Murderous Prowess goes off, it's going to be pretty crunk for sure. And Wurzog, though, I mean, he's got that Foot of Gork. I wonder where it's going to go. I mean, maybe he's going to drop it on Blades of the Blood Queen. That's probably what I would do. Those guys are terrors in the night. He also does have some Sisters of Slaughter hiding here in the forest. If the greenskins are able to get some really good missile pressure on the Sisters, they could easily drop those guys pretty quick as well. All right, guys. Here we go. The Supreme Sorceress is going to be flying on her Manticore. Needs to be careful, though. If she gets a little bit too crazy and flies up, FG goes down, Goblin Firing Line could easily get her down to like 30, no, not 30, probably like 50, 60%. The only spell that Rigson brought is Spirit Leech. So the Spirit Leech obviously going to be used on Wurzog. It's very good against greenskins, death magic in general, because they don't have any way of healing. So it's super punishing. And greenskins are an army that are very, they have a lot of leadership issues, right? So having Wurzog, get sniped out of the battlefield is very, very just bad for it. It looks like the Ballista is going to be going after the Broken Tusk Mob. They do actually take out 3 models here. So Fly on Bread definitely should hide those guys in the forest or move them up and around a little bit. Orc Boys are going to be moving forward to engage the front line. Obviously, the Dark Elves do have the Reaper Bolt Thrower here, so they can kind of force the greenskins to come in. I am really excited to actually see where that Foot of Gork is going to go. So I don't know, maybe it's going to drop on these Harganeth Executioners or the Blades of the Blood Queen. Green side coming in, you can see the Dark Elves do have a bit of a concave, right? So they're going to try and collapse on the flanks of the greenskins. And it looks like these Sisters of Slaughter may have been discovered. I like how it says Whip Infantry. That's pretty hilarious. But maybe they're going to charge in. The Sisters, looks like they actually do get to ambush. So the Forest Goblin Spider Riders are going to be jumped by the Sisters. The Orc Night Goblins are going to be rushing in as well, which are going to poison them and start prison shanking them. But I still think Sisters can 2v1 this engagement very easily. Orc Boys are going to be engaging across the board. Night Goblin Archers are going to start shooting as well. Black Orcs, everyone moving forward. This front line of greenskins is going to buckle so incredibly fast. But the Goblin Firing Line is now shooting into the Harganeth Executioners. Skulkers might as well be moved up as well. And Wurzog in the back better get ready to pop some buffs. The Wah definitely needs to go down here in a matter of seconds. So we have the pit fight here. The Goblins and all these other guys are going to be fighting against the Sisters. The Wah has been popped, but it looks like Wurzog is going to be scooting forward. Blades of the Blood Queen just trash canning those Orc Boys. Just put in an unholy trash can. But look at that. The Black Orcs follow up. They get the charge bonus from the Wah, and they're going to be able to do some hurting. And they didn't take the initial charge themselves, so I definitely like that play from Fly on Bread, having that kind of delayed engagement here. And the Black Orcs doing very well. Now, a Smoke Bomb here would be clutch against the Blades of the Blood Queen to kind of slow them down, but Wurzog is just getting punished so hard by that Spirit Leech play. And here you can see that the greenskins are collapsing pretty bad. The Harganeth Executioners are losing to the Black Orcs, but it looks like the Corsairs have gotten up and around the flanks. They could potentially chase back here. Broken Tusk Mob, yeah, might as well try and get him back here. It looks like a Brain Burster going down from Wurzog over here, so the 2 Goblin Big Bosses are still in very good shape as well. So very close game. Could certainly go either way, but if I were the greenskin player, I would probably just hide Wurzog in the shadows. Just run. You don't want to take that penalty for your Lord being gooned and killed out, because that's going to be like an army-wide effect, right? Black Orcs have crushed the Harganeth Executioners here. On the other side, they're also winning. So the Harganeth are in a little bit of trouble. Forest Goblin Spider Riders from Fly on Bread in the back have attacked the Dark Shards. That's a pretty good little engagement. Although a lot of them do get caught up on the Dread Spears, which is not so good. The Broken Test Mob do get a charge here on the Sisters of Slaughter, but they don't want to stay in sustained combat. That's not going to be the best situation. In the meantime, the Baconator in the back has been taken out, so Wurzog is actually shattered off the battlefield from the Supreme Sorceress. So that's a tough situation. You definitely need to be very careful with Wurzog against, death magic and any sort of, abilities like that. But the Black Orcs are piling in. They're still going to be tough to kill. The Black Orcs are going to get into the Dark Shards here and definitely do quite a bit of damage. You can see they're being pathed in. Balance of power is slightly in the favor of the Dark Elves. And, there are some good engagements, though, going on for the Greenskins. The Black Orcs are doing very well for themselves. The Dark Shards look like they're going to be taken offline for the most part. And some Forest Goblin Spider Riders are coming back as well. So over here, it looks like some of the Archers are being chased down by Corsairs. There is a group coming back here, but yeah, the Blades of the Blood Queen on the hunt. So that pretty much means the Night Goblins are just not going to survive here. 3 groups routing here, Night Goblins, Orc Boys, as well as some more of the Gobos. So yeah, it's looking pretty tough. It looks like the Greenskins might just be worn down just by sheer attrition. The Black Orcs here are able to clean up the Harganeth Executioner. Spider Riders are going to be swarming in, trying to pin in the Supreme Sorceress. So obviously the Black Orcs are going to be trying to take out this guy and maybe just one desperate push to try and take out the Lord. Unfortunately, the Dark Shards are still online. Sisters of Slaughter here are still in pretty good shape. They have pretty insane leadership, and they've actually been able to put a huge amount of hurt on the Broken Tusk Mob. So yeah, it's looking like the Dark Elves are probably going to take this game. They have too many Sisters of Slaughter. Too many of the Greenskins are being chased off the battlefield. Granted, these Archers are getting some good rear fire here into the Blades of the Blood Queen, which could potentially take them down, but I think that's going to be it. You can see the Greenskins here just buckling under the withering fire of the Dark Shards. And yeah, I think the Dark Elves being able to take out Wurzog that easily is going to be all she wrote. So yeah, well played. It looks like Rigson is going to take the Series 2-0 Fly on Bread with his very first tournament debut. So he said he hasn't played in tournaments before. He put on a great showcase against a very, very skilled player in Rigson. So really got to give a lot of props here to the Fly on Bread. He did a great job. So Broken Test Mob going to be going in for the last epic charge, going to be slamming into the Dark Shards and some of these other troops here. And it looks like the Supreme Sorceress, of course, the Manticore is going to be something that can terror route, is going to terror route all of these guys off. So very well played to both players. Rigson is going to take the Series 2-0. And Erland, you're not late. Too late. We're about to go to the final, so you still have a best of 5 to watch. So guys, let's give up a big props to Fly on Bread for his playing in his first tournament, doing an outstanding job against a very, very skilled opponent, obviously bringing a very optimized Dark Elf list. And congratulations to Rigson, who's going to be moving on to the grand finals for today. So let's go ahead and get that going here and take a look at the tournament brackets. So yes, the laziest bracket move ever. Look at that. Rigson and Hadries are going to be facing off in a best of 5 finals. And yeah, that's going to be coming up soon. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream. We're probably going to take a quick intermission here. Let me go ahead and say GG to the players. GG. That was great. So let's have you, Rickson, stay in here. All right, guys, so we're just going to take a quick intermission while we get the finals all set up and everything. So, guys, big thank you for joining today. Make sure to stick around for the finals, which will be starting in about 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll make sure to put on some classical music for you guys to enjoy. Go get your snack, go get your drink, take a little bit of a break, and we will be back in just a few moments. So thank you guys so much, and we will talk soon. All right, guys, we're back. I actually unmuted myself for once. And here we are in the finals, which is going to feature a showdown between Hadries and Rigson. Remember, the finals of all of the Eternal Challenger Leagues are going to be best of 5, so this is going to be hopefully a full hour of entertainment here. We could potentially have quite a few games. So just got to update the names real quick here on the one side, and let's get that flying bread and change it to Hadries. We're good to go. So OO here in the beginning. Let me go ahead and get the screen blocker up. Wookie is back. And yeah, both players picking their armies. Welcome, guys. This is going to be the best of 5 finals between Hadries and Rigson. Hadries, of course, having a pretty close 2-1 series there, and Rigson just winning 2-0. But of course, the first game was actually very, very close. And yeah, we've had some good games today. So then again, just want to thank you guys so much for joining, all of your support of the multiplayer community. We're doing our best to keep it going strong all the way through the Warhammer 2 and Warhammer 3 timeline. And yeah, God, I cannot wait for Warhammer 3. I'm so damn excited. I would actually like to play Battlefleet Gothic 2, but it's a little bit tough on my my GIMP hand. So at this time. But yeah, I probably will. Maybe in the next couple weeks. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what happens. No haircut. I didn't get a haircut. It's the exact same. I just combed it today. Turin, you just can't unmute yourself instantly. We need at least 5 minutes of silence to continue the tradition. Yeah, yeah, we do. So as far as this matchup goes, I think it's a pretty fun one. I think that the Vampire Coast has quite a few options in terms of what they want to bring. I think Celestra is really good. I think that a little bit scary though, I guess, against Death Magic, and the FG of the Git can be pretty punishing as well. But Celestra is really good to summon the Knights, Errants to go chase down the Goblins is very powerful. Noctilus, either on foot or as Colossus, is very good for summoning and just kind of dealing with the greenskin numbers. There's a lot of different ways you can go about it. You can go with Colossus play, you can go with Leviathans, you can go super wide. Gun lines aren't the best against greenskins because they can just kind of swarm you with shielded units, but I mean, there's still so many different ways you can play it. So I'm really actually quite excited to see how Hadri's goes about this game here. So let me make sure both players are good to go. So start when ready. We're just gonna get Crumpin' Soggy Dead Things. Oh yeah, Rigson's, he's in the mood. He's playing to the theme. This is gonna be great. Yes, we've seen a lot of greenskins today, actually. Greenskins, like I said, I think they're a pretty good faction. Harder to play than some, but you know, in the hands of a good player, they can just be insane. They just have so much utility, really powerful buffs. Bonewood Staff is really good. I think we might see a wild Grimgore pick here. I don't know why. I just have like a tingling in my spine, you know, about Grimgore potentially coming in. So I think we might get it. Yeah. No, like Lady Turin is doing a painting of Wookiee kind of as like Luther Harkin. So Wookiee's gonna like look like Luther Harkin. Yeah, Luther is super good in this matchup as well. He's really good at sniping the Greenskin Lords, especially on Interrogeist. He could just like fly over them and shoot them, or you know. Also, his ability, the Power Siphon, adds 15 seconds to cooldowns, which is the same as Arcane and Forging. It actually slows down the wasp. So Luther is still super competitive here for sure. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. The battle is underway. Game 1 here in this best of 5 finals for the Eternal Challenger League number 6, the sixth qualifier. I don't know why that one's like hard for me to say. 6th, bit of a strange thing, isn't it? To dealing with Missile Cav. Oh, Vampire Coast can deal with Missile Cav. They have their own range. I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to, but yeah. Take a sip of coffee here. Luther Wookiee. I don't know. I feel like we might get a wild Grimgore pick. I don't know why. I just have I have this tingling. I don't know how to explain it. Take that as you may. But I feel like we're going to get a Grimgore pick. I would love that. Now, realistically, it's probably going to be Warzog or Azag, but come on, get some of that. Yeah, oh no, it looks like it's a War Boss or something. Anyways, let's go and talk about the forces of the Vampire Coast. Oh my god, it's happening. So, Hadri's, obviously attempting to be one of the heroes of the people here, is going to be getting the Gallows Giant, a unit. I don't know if I've seen it in competitive multiplayer play. I always feel like it just doesn't work, like it's broken or something. So guys, we have the freaking Gallows Giant. This is the ROR Colossus. It has a flamethrower, and yeah, it has a flamethrower. Not much to say about that. He does also have the Lamprey's Revenge. So these guys are so hard to kill. They have 63 melee defense, 120 armor, and they heal. So they're kind of like the Stearnsman of the crab world. Very tanky, very resilient. They'll go down quick to Rusty Air Focus Fire from a bunch of goblins, but for the most part, these guys are a tough unit to deal with, so I like that quite a bit. For the rest of the forces, we got Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mobs, just kind of standard chaffy units. A couple groups of Depth Guard, I think, are actually just one. And the Tide of Skilled. Now, Depth Guard are really good against Greenskins. They'll lose to Black Orcs, but all other chaff units, they'll be very durable against. However, they have a low model count, they can go down to Focus Fire, so a little bit touchy, but if put in the right pocket where they're just grinding with chaff, these guys can win you the game, like hands down, get like 200 plus kills. On top of that, he does have Celestra. Celestra on her Giant Rotting Leviathan, definitely going to be quite strong. She has the Crab Summon, so going with the Summoner build, which I think is one of the best options for the Vampire Coast. Celestra summons Knights and Crabs, and then you get a Vampire Fleet Captain for Invocation of Nehek and Drown Dead, so it's very, very powerful. I think this is going to be really solid. So I like his build quite a bit. The only thing I'm a little bit scared of is the Gallows Giant. I don't know how well it's actually going to do. I feel like it's always a little bit buggy, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how he does. And for the forces of the Green Tide, who are going to be led by Rigson, it looks like in the front line he has a combination of Savage Orcs, Goblins, with no Chevron, so they're just going to be standard Gobbos, and honestly, you don't need too much against them. Savage Orc Airboys are very good here because they're able to fight off zombie summons that can potentially disrupt them, so I like those guys quite a bit. And the rest here is probably mixed in somewhere, I would imagine. Not sure. Anyways, here in the back, we do also have a Goblin Rock Clobber and two groups of, not two groups, but two Goblin Big Bosses. Plus, up in the skies, we have Azag the Slaughterer. So had he gone with Celestra on foot, Azag would have given him the business so hard with Spirit Leeches. It would have killed her in like a matter of seconds. So, yeah, I like that force quite a bit. Savage Orcs, Goblins, going to be putting a lot of weight, though, on these archers. But Azag is a very powerful, you know, hard-hitting unit, right? So if he's able to get on the Colossus or the Crab, he can definitely take it down. So Start when ready. Here we go. The finals is here. Who do you guys think? Do you guys have the orcs or the vampire coast for the win here? Let me know, guys. Yeah, so make sure to drop a like. I see we have 1,200 people here. If you guys are enjoying the content, you know, a simple click of the button does go a long way. Woofer barking. Oh, that's good. Woofer barking. I love that. Oh. Yeah, that's really good, George. All right. So, I'm really excited to see how the Gallows Giant is going to do. Man, we've had Screaming Skull Catapults. I feel like the Eternal Challenger League just brings the best out of people, bringing the most flashy, fun units here. So the Gallows Giant could potentially be pretty good, though. So the Goblin Rockclobber is going to be shooting in. And it's probably just going to shoot at Depth Guard and things like that. But there is a Carronade, so the Carronade can easily kill it. If the Carronade and the Rockclobber want to go fisticuffs, the Goblins aren't necessarily going to stand up against this cannon pressure. But I don't know. It's really, the summons really are good at compensating for low numbers. So if you go super elite with Vampire Coast and you go with the Summoner build with Celestra plus the Vampire Fleet Captain, you can really make up for not having that many units. The Gallows Giant is going to be waddling backwards on its peg leg. And it looks like the Lamprey's Revenge are going to come out with their shotguns and try and fend these guys off. But the Morgrove's Major Marauders are a really good pick. They have actually pretty good armor-piercing values for their cost. So they're going to be able to shoot these crabs. But yeah, the shotguns are coming out, the gunnery mobs, and they're going to start blasting these doggos pretty bad. Also, the Flamethrower turns around. It's a little bit bugged from what I've seen. But maybe, I don't know, maybe it's been fixed. Shotguns coming out from the Lamprey's Revenge going to be forcing these guys back. Those things don't do a lot of damage. Nonetheless, it's able to do its job. So Lamprey's Revenge still pouring forward a little bit. Azag, I wonder who's going to start Spirit Leeching. Celestra, of course, on her crab. Doesn't really have an issue with being ethereal. She basically just takes on the attributes of the crab, right? So in the front line, we have the fight is underway. The Night Goblins are going to be colliding with the Deckhand mobs. Got a little bit of a nasty fight here. The Gobos definitely are going to have the advantage, just because Deckhand mobs are basically just like peasant mobs with higher weapon strength. But in the back, Azag the Slaughter just going to be looking for a target. He's going to be Spirit Leeching the Death Guard, I think, or maybe a Fate of Buna. Yeah, it's probably going to be Fate of Buna, actually. Which is going to pretty much one-shot those guys. So I think that's a really, really good choice. Greenskin's popping the wall in the front. Lamprey's Revenge going in. It looks like in the back they're going to be summoning the Knights Errants. So this is a really good play because they're like, oh, hey guys, what's up? So they should be charging in a matter of seconds here. He needs to be really quick on that. He needs to get those damn Knight Errants and run those damn Knight Errants and charge them in. So the Knight Errant's going to get in there. Definitely going to disrupt, if not terror out the Rusty Arrows here. And it looks like the Green Tide is actually kind of mulching over these Lampreys with the Focus Fire from the Goblins. Celastro's in pretty good shape, but she's still taking a beating from Azag. Granted, there is Invocation of the Heck. Depth Guard are going to be piling forward and killing these goblins, but a massive wave of savage pressure coming from the flanks. You can see the Savage Orcs are just going to just buzzsaw, just take these guys out in a matter of seconds. So this is going to be a very, very tough engagement here for the Zombie Pirate Gunnery mob. So good night, sweet princes. You guys are going to be taken out by the Savage Orcs. Balance of power is slightly in the favor of the Greenskins, I think. But look at this. The damn Knight Errant's getting in the back. The Summoner build really coming into full strength, and the Savage Orcs, archers, have been sent into melee to fight these guys, but still, it's occupying them. It could potentially terror route. It's just very, very solid play here using Celestra summons. Rotting Prometheans have been summoned to go after these Savage Orcs, and Prometheans should be able to finish those guys off. And the Gallows Giant with the Flamethrower on the Savage Orcs. I love that. He's up to 47 kills, so he's actually doing pretty good. Fog of the Damned being dropped from the Vampire Coast, and oh, God, that is so cool. Oh, God, that's so good. So he's able to take those guys out and do some pretty good damage against these Savage Orcs. So the Gallows Giant might be able to break these guys down, but just wave after wave of Greenskins coming in. But the Greenskins are starting to actually get worn down a little bit against the wall. And somehow the Lamprey's Revenge were able to survive. And the reason they're still alive is because Celestra and the Vampire Fleet Captain have been spamming summons in the back line and just disrupting all of this firepower, which the Greenskins really need. The Rotting Prometheans are doing a good job against the Savage Orcs, just kind of crab slapping them and having a good old time. Granted, they do degenerate, so they're going to go down, somewhat quick on their own. But yeah, I really like the Celestra and the Summoner plays, able to kind of disrupt the Greenskin back line. Rigson's looking in a little bit of trouble here as the bounce power does come slightly back in the favor, I think, of the Vampire Coast. And the Gallows Giant is really healthy. Invocations of Nehek are still alive. And I did not notice this, actually, that Azag has taken a ton of damage somehow. So I don't know how he got taken so low. However, the Greenskins in the back, guns are being cleaned up by Savage Orcs. Savage Orcs cleaning up the halberds here. This entire formation is going to be taken out, so it's really just going to be the monstrous units of the Vampire Coast being swarmed by Greenskins. Now, if Azag was to die here against Celestra, or just get kind of taken out here, the taunt going down, I think that could potentially be game. So the Gallows Giant's going to be chasing him down. Looks like everyone just swarming in. So yeah, Vampire Coast doesn't have much left. I mean, they have a couple chaff units out here on the wings that really aren't going to do a whole lot. Probably just going to crumble into obscurity. Right here, the Lamprey's Revenge. These guys are just a thorn. They still have 2,400 HP and are, causing some problems. They're a bit of a roadblock here, right? So some Fanatics throwing some of their their Fanatic balls here, the ball and chain. But the Gallows Giant might be able to get a mass terror out with Celestra, but Celestra is going to get surrounded here. There are a lot of angry Savage Orcs And, oh, these are actually the biggins. So the biggins do have anti-large. So I actually did not notice that those were the biggins. That's going to be a lot scarier for these monstrous units. But here comes the flamethrower. Come on, buddy. So show us some sweet flamethrower action. So the Gallows Giant takes a spot here. Song of Enthrallment going down, which is going to lower melee attack. And yeah, not the most accurate of lads, but he's going to kind of rotate in there and get that flamethrower torch there at the end. So Lostra is being taken out by the Goblin Big Boss a little bit. So she's getting really low. Gallows Giant's in okay shape. Vampire Fleet Caster, is that Caster still alive? It looks like, yeah, okay, the Caster's still there. So that means there still could be invocations and a heck going down. That would definitely be pretty important here. But the Gallows Giant is roasting a lot of these Savage Orcs. How many kills is it up to? 87. Not bad. Lamprey's Revenge coming in to try and assist against the Goblin Big Boss. So Lostra is holding on, but some of the archers are coming back. Back here we have the Rusty Arrows. Ooh, that's going to be rough. When the Rusty Arrows get back online, that's going to be some serious trouble here. So, Balance Fire is pretty even. The Greenskins just have a fat surround, but the Gallows Giant with its flamethrower making a bit of a last stand. Azag's coming back now. 1 or 2 Spirit Leeches could also be very, very destructive here. And it looks like Solostra is actually able to pimp slap the Goblin, and the Gallows Giant are going to be piling in as well. They taunt him. He's terrified. He's taking a lot of damage. But I don't know. The Green Tide, I think they're going to chew up this Vampire Caster. You can see this guy's just being circle beaten here by just hordes of these Savage Orcs just clubbing and clawing. And yeah, that Vampire Caster is probably going to be going down somewhat quick. I mean, it doesn't have the most armor, if I'm not mistaken, only 30 armor, but Savage Orcs are actually being terrified. Oh man, this is a close game. Azag's coming in. He's able to finish off those Depth Guard right there, which is definitely a nice pick. I would like to see him do a couple cycle charges here on the Lamprey's Revenge just to finish them off, because they only have 6 models and their HP is somewhat low, but I don't know. I guess everything is a little bit risky, right? He only has 1,000 HP, so every play has to just be made like super, you know, has to be super tactical. But the Rusty Arrows coming back might be something that can win rigs in the game. The Rusty Arrow is going to be able to put a ton of pressure on Solostris under the armor. And yeah, I don't know. The Greenskins are just like chain routing though to this this Colossus here. The Gallows Giant. Oh, look at that. Just roasting those guys and then clubbing with the hand. Some of the cooler attack animation. Oh, he has a guy on his, like, look at that. Oh, do you guys see that? He picked the guy up with his claw and then roasted him. Man, I've never seen that animation before. So that, you know, not to see something new every day, huh? So anyways, the Gallows Giant's getting worn down. The Vampire Caster completely mulched by the Greenskins. And it looks like the Vampire Coast is going to be losing this game. Rigson able to take game 1 here. Hadri's, man, putting up a great fight with Solostra on the Crab. And the Gallows Giant obviously getting 122 kills. But Solostra looks like she's going to be going down to just the Rusty Arrow fire. When the Rusty Arrows came back, I think that was what really changed the game. But, oh, man, the Abandoned Ship coming down, giving some deckhand support? I don't think so. If the Rusty Arrows can keep firing like this, that's pretty much going to be it. Azag's going to be charging in on Solostra. Solostra has 900 to 800 HP. She's going down. Her armor's sundered. And yeah, she has 600. Azag, of course, has 480 weapon strength. There's still a Goblin Big Boss here. There's poison. And down goes Mrs. Direfon, who's going to be falling. And, oh, she just sunk into the dirt there. That's pretty interesting stuff. That's going to be game 1, going to Rigson here with the Green Tide. So let's get a big wah in chat. Definitely a very solid game as Azag the Slaughter is able to lead his Green Tide in a very atrocious back and forth game there. That was extremely solid. That was a great match, boys. Great match. Well played to both players. That's what I'm talking about. That's the finals we want. A Gallows Giant making a last stand and chain routing Greenskin hordes, but just the sheer numbers, we're able to just keep throwing them back in and going and just doing problems, and yeah, that's it. So well played. That's going to be game 1 in a best of 5. So we still have quite a few more games coming for our boy Rigson here. So let's go ahead and upgrade that. We're going to see if Hadri's can make a comeback. So Hadri's played very well. I loved his build. He definitely brought some entertaining units. The Lampreys, the Leviathan was awesome. We got to see the Gallows Giant, which is something you don't see terribly often, but just the sheer numbers of that Green Tide was able to eventually wear him down. So yeah. Oh, death animation on Colossus is so cool. First time I've ever seen the Gallows Giant do some work. Awesome. Game 2. And let's go ahead and get that army blocker up. There we go. So thank you guys so much for joining today. We are here. 1 up. Rigson is up 1-0 right now in this best of 5. Taking the victory with the Green Tide here in the finals. We've seen a lot of Greenskins today. It has been it's been quite an adventure. But yeah, man, I'm having fun. I'm having a good old jolly time, to say the least. $345 kills for the Meme Giant. Is that what it had at the end? I think it was 145. Yeah, the knights just lay on the ground. The damn knights, they just, yeah, they don't disappear at all. Oh, man. So the next one is going to be on Alpine Ridge, which is probably one of my favorite maps of all time because it has this, like, awesome middle hill where you just have these, like, Vanguard cockfights. And people, like, fight for the high ground, which I think is such an interesting dynamic. Granted, you can't play, like, dwarves and just wait or something, but it's, everyone, wow, I like that button. we'll make sure to get a wah emoji here on the stream in the future. We'll get some for like all the different factions for like Skaven and things like that. That'll be really fun. So yeah, gonna be a party. Fly on Bread. Thank you for the $5 donation. He says, thank you so much for letting me play in the tournament. Great learning experience. Hope I can play in more of your tournaments. You absolutely will. You did a great job, put up a great fight and against a very good tournament player. So big congratulations to you, Fly on Bread. We'll certainly have you back. So thank you so much for joining today and taking time out of your Sunday to put on a great show. Absolutely. The memeiest unit as of now, God, I'd have to think about that. Probably like the Bloated Corpse is one of them for sure. I mean, in campaign, it has some applications, but in multiplayer, it's just a complete meme. All right, so we have Dark Elves from Hadri's, and he's banning Chaos, and Rigson is now going to pick his army. Yeah, I think Chef Ainsley just needed a break from the streams, and we'll probably find something new in the near future to pop up. So, but I see the point that during the games when I'm doing commentary to have Ainsley come up and like kind of like pop up in front of the action, and it's a little bit disruptive in terms of like actually having a structured like tournament, you know. So I kind of like have to figure something out with that. We're probably not going to see Grimgore. I don't think we're going to see Grimgore today. We saw Azag and Wurzog, but yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. We're going to have Vampire. So Rigson is going to be taking the Vampirates. Man, this is going to be an interesting battle. Maybe we're just going to see a Depth Guard Crab Rush. That could be pretty damn strong, actually. Yeah, I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to go get a drink of water real quick. Start when ready. No rush. All right, guys. I'll be right back. And we're back. We're back. Mike does not appear to be muted. Let me go ahead and double check here. No, we're good. Just got the army blocker up. Showtime. Rigson up 1-0 against Hadri's here in the best of 5 finals. Surf's up according to Rigson. And the Dark Elves definitely have a solid army. I see it right now. It looks pretty nasty. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that is my dog Wookie, for anyone wondering. The screen blocker there. It's pretty glorious for sure. We had some really good games today. We got to see Gallows Giant. We actually saw a game earlier in the stream where the Screaming Skull Catapult had a really good performance. And for anyone who joined a little bit late, I would definitely head back and watch those first games. We had a really good series between Zablocki and Hadri's there at the beginning. The Morgul Haunter is really good. Yeah. I'm surprised we don't see more often. The Morgul Haunter is like a beast of a unit. It has an AoE slow, like, and it hits like a truck. It causes terror. Like, slowing effects are so powerful. So, I don't know. Yeah, Dark Elves are pretty good. Dark Elves are a top tier faction, I think. I think they're up there in the top 3 or 4. I don't know. Number 1, probably. We haven't seen too much Chaos or Vampire counts today. I'm surprised we haven't seen a Vampire count pick. You know? Or Chaos even. No, we're here, boo. Boo-hoo. Boo-ho. We're online. He does look like an Ewok for sure. That's an older picture. He's an older picture for sure. But yeah, players are still picking the armies. Let me go ahead and take a look at the Vampire Coast army, see what they got going here. Looking pretty good. You guys are going to like the Dark Elf pick for sure. It's a fun Lord choice. It's a fun Lord choice, to say the least. Oh man, wild times we live in. And here we go. It's showtime. Favorite chocolate? I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of chocolate. I mean, I like brownies. You know, that's about it. Like kind of milk chocolate. Yeah. Yeah, Skaven are one of the weakest factions, but they can be made to work. I've seen people win in tournaments with them. We had some really good Skaven victories, I think, in the third of the Eternal Challenger League qualifiers. I think it was with Exploding Hamster. I think he played Skaven to some pretty good effect. Yeah. Yes. All right, guys. So we are here in Game 2 of the finals between Hadries and Rigson here. Hey, thank you so much, Miso. Huge thanks for the hours of entertainment. I really appreciate the donation, man. Well, hopefully more to come. I'll be doing this every week, maybe twice a week, depending on the circumstances. So thank you so much, man. All right, so we have a showdown between Rigson, who's going to be playing the Vampire Coast, and he's going to be facing off against Hadries here in Game 2, who's going to be playing the Dark Elves. And this is a pretty fat army. Definitely a lot going on here. So it's going to be some artillery. There's going to be some sirens, all kinds of crazy pressure going on. So I'm really excited to see how that kind of pans out here. So for the forces of the Dark Elves, up in the skies, we do have Big Mama Marathi. So we are up in Big Mama's house. Marathi is definitely not a bad choice. Soul Stealer is good. The Heartrender and the Dark Sword is pretty insane in the melee fights. Enchanting Beauty. She has the Wand of Kadaron or something like that. I forget what it's called, but it's really good. He also does have a Sorceress with Death. So Marathi only has 2 spells, and the Sorceress with Death just has Spirit Leech. So just in case there's big monsters or Solastra, I'd like that diversity in terms of his spell choices. So that's going to be pretty good. Spears over here. A couple groups of Witch Elves as well. The Witch Elves, of course, are very good at buzzsawing through troops. The Rampage is always very powerful. And yeah, I mean, they're very vulnerable to missile fire, though. You need to be very careful with them, but still, they can do a ton of work. So Witch Elves and Chaff, mostly, it's just Bleak Swords, Shred Spears, and Witch Elves. And in the back, he does have one group of Shades. Now, the Shades with dual weapons, one of the more underused units in the game, but they do have a bonus for his infantry, so they can kill Chaff very quickly. But more importantly, they have those big AP bows against like crab play and things like that. So they're pretty good against the Krabby Patties. Over here on the flank, going to be a massive vanguard for Hadries. He does have Dark Riders with the repeater crossbows. He has some Harpies as well. Harpies, of course, a pretty natural counter against deck dropper play. And Big Mama's house, she's just going to be waiting, dropping some stuff like that, some fire. Yeah, a bakery in Burbank. It's a cafe. I go to Coral Cafe with Anna at like 1 a.m. Yeah, it's in Los Angeles. And for the forces of the Vampire Coast, it looks like we're going to have Count Noctilus, Grumpy Cat. Not going to be on a scratching post, so maybe he's going to be especially grumpy for this particular game. Excuse me. And yeah, he's ready to go. Looking badass. He's got his big chest or chin thing, whatever you guys like to call that. He does have Invocation of Neck and Drown Dead. Pretty standard stuff. Looks like aside from that, Rigson does have a couple groups of halberds, a front line of zombie deckhand mobs. Obviously pretty optimal to just taking a beating. Black Spot, Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob here, Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob here. 3 cannons. So he does have a triple cannon. Actually, no, are those mortars? So Carronade and double mortar. So 2 mortars are really good against Dark Shards and squishy infantry. And then he does also have a cannon, which I like quite a bit. Sirens are going to be an interesting choice as well. They have really good physical resist. They can tear out the chaff units. And they also have pretty good armor piercing, but they don't need, I mean, there's not too much armor here for the Dark Elves. But yeah, this is going to be a good game. Sitting a little bit further back, obviously, he wants to force the Dark Elves over the lip to come and fight him with the cannons and whatnot. So yeah, we're going to see how it goes. And yeah, he's going to need line of sight, though, up on the hill. And maybe that's why he's going to leave one of these guys forward. Does he have any way of scouting? I don't think he has any scurvy dogs or anything like that. In the back, we do have Dark Riders with shields. But yeah, a very defensive style of play here from the Vampire Coast. So start when ready. Yeah. I hear you, Misha. I hear you. That's funny. Yeah, the Vampire Coast army's pretty thick for sure. Sirens are going to be interesting. I'm really curious how they are going to perform against Witch Elves and Bleak Swords and kind of chaff units. Yeah, they do have the enchantment too. So if you guys go ahead and take a look, they actually have an interesting buff. They have a Charmed. So whenever they're attacking something, it lowers their melee attack by 9. I'm not sure how these things could charm you, but you know, to each their own. You know, I'm not going to judge. So the forces of the Dark Elves are obviously going to have to move out, as there is mortar pressure and cannons and a bunch of other stuff like that. So he's really going to need to optimize this mortar play, because if the battle gets too close too quick and they're not able to get some damage on initially, it's going to be, you know, pretty disastrous for sure. So Big Mama's house is going to be coming around. Harpies are going to be flying over as well. And the Dark Elves are going to be advancing over the hill. And we actually have a pretty sneaky vanguard here. If you guys take a look, I don't know where these guys are going. They're just like, screw this, I'm out. They're just running. You can see the Night Terrors are just... They definitely need to run back to the battle because that's an expensive investment. They need to get over here and start fighting ASAP. Bartek, thank you for the donation of the 25 zloty. Dziękuję bardzo. Yeah, it means a lot, man. Thank you so much. I'm going to be in Poland probably in the next couple weeks, actually. Anyways, the zombie pirate gunnery mobs are going to be taking some pot shots into the Dark Riders with shields here, and they actually have their backs turned, so they're taking some damage. A pretty good defense so far from the Vampire Coast. Looks like Harpies are going to be committing to the cannon, which is good. Shut down the cannon temporarily, allow your troops to advance without taking too much damage. But the mortar is actually doing a lot of work against these Dread Spears, and these Witch Elves are just getting hot fire rained on them. In the meantime, the zombie pirate gunnery mobs with the handguns are really tearing apart these Dark Riders with their repeater crossbows back here. Harpies might actually swoop in here to shut these guys down temporarily, but Big Mama up in the skies is taking some blasts right to the face. She's taking a lot of these gunnery mobs, which aren't the heavy AP variant, so it's not going to be as bad, but nonetheless, it's still, you know, doing a little bit of work. Now, the Harpies are actually being taken out by the Halberds as well as the Sirens over here, and it looks like the Wand of Caridon goes down on Count Noctis, but it doesn't do a whole lot. And the zombie pirate gunnery mobs are going to be advancing outwards, but the Witch Elves and all of the Bleak Swords and pressure from the Dark Elves is going to be closing in here. So I'm quite eager to see. Man, Marathi is just getting pounded by the fire from these handgun fire. The Black Spot doing some work. These Witch Elves straight up getting last samurai as they advance in. You can see the gunnery mobs just shooting them to pieces. Mortars raining down on them as they retreat. So that Vampire Coast gun line is really doing a lot of work, just disrupting the Dark Elves, focus firing down the high value targets. But the pressure is imminent. The Dark Elves are finally about to arrive. There's going to be some Dread Spears, the Hellebronai back here. And yeah, there's not a lot of separation between those and the cannons and the squishy parts of the army. So these Dark Riders getting last samurai as well, but the Sirens are going to come in and enchant them and actually terrify them. So really good Siren play so far. Marathi is going to go Fisticuffs right here. And drop a Soul Stealer as well. Soul Stealer, a pretty good cast to be able to hit these guys, but this is where things can get pretty ugly for the Vampire Coast. The Witch Elves are going to just bum rush in here, and they're going to chop these guys up, especially with the Soul Stealer. Soul Stealer is going to add a lot of damage to that, and the Witch Elves are going to kill them in a matter of seconds. They're very, very aggressive. Sirens here on the far side are going to be able to clean up these guys. It looks like the Morgul Haunters, the Night Terrors, actually came in the back, and they got a rear charge sandwiched with the Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs. So yeah, they might be able to tear out some of these guys. Granted, the Witch Elves are, you know, hit pretty hard, but yeah, I think the Haunters are probably going to help win this fight over here, which is going to be a really nice boon. So far, very good play from both players. It's pretty back and forth. The Hellebronai are back here. Noctis could potentially summon some zombies on top of them. I think would be very, very prudent. Marathi, though, has taken a ton of gunpowder. Every direction she goes, she's just being shot from another angle. Looks like in the back, some of these Dark Riders with shields finally going to get into the cookie jar. So they're going to come back here and ride down the Black Spot. But the Black Spot have anti-large and, you know, armor piercing. Not that they need it, but they're going to be able to actually fend these guys off and kill a lot of these Dark Riders in melee. So very back and forth play over here. The Witch Elves are able to mulch those guys down. The Sirens are holding pretty efficiently here. Deckhand mobs out on the flanks are just causing some disruption. And Marathi is looking pretty beat to hell. I mean, so is the whole Dark Elf army. It looks like the Vampire Coast is holding pretty firm here. Over here, the Sirens are kind of cleaning up shop. That rear charge from the Night Terrors was super good. It cleaned up Witch Elves, it cleaned up Dread Spears, and was able to make those like zombie Deckhand mobs actually win that engagement. So the Terrors in the Night going to be piling back in with the Sirens, going to be going after the Dark Elves, and man, it's really cool to see some of those unorthodox units be used very effectively, right? Count Noctis is able to stabilize most of his bad positions using the zombie summons. And it looks like Marathi's going to be going in to drop a very efficient Soul Stealer on top of Noctilus, the Halberds, and the cannon back here. But I really think that's going to probably not be enough to get it back in. There is some Witch Elves still here, but the Sirens are going to come in and probably kill them. The Shades are being attacked by zombie Deckhand mobs who obviously can kind of chaff them down just with sheer numbers. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's going to be it. It looks like the Vampire Coast with the Night Terrors here. I'm surprised. Those Night Terrors are doing work. Look at those guys just piling in here and just rampaging through the Dark Elf ranks, terror routing. And it looks like Marathi, oh, Big Mama Marathi is in the wrong neighborhood. She actually gets pinned down by a bunch of summons. The Sirens are coming in, and thankfully the Sirens can't rampage things. But yeah, that's going to be a little bit tough. Wand of Caridon going down. It gets a pretty direct hit on Noctilus, which is definitely going to be pretty good and tasty. But the Black Spot is still here. They're going to be able to do a lot of shooting. Or that's not the Black Spot, but the gunnery mobs. And yeah, it looks like even the Dark Riders with repeater crossbows got caught by Halberds here on the flanks. And yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised this game is still going, but yeah, Marathi is in the wrong neighborhood, though. She's just being shanked by all of these Sirens, the zombie summons, and Noctilus, of course, with his anti-large. And the Dark Elves really don't have much left. The Night Terrors actually rush in to intercept the Shades, which is a really good choice, because Shades could potentially hit hard against someone like Count Noctilus. But yeah, these guys are just getting slapped up by these Night Terrors who have 54 melee attack and a bonus for his infantry. They're just going to just crump all over those Dark Elf troops. That's going to be it. Rixen is going to take that game. Man, that was a really cool Vampire Coast build using the Sirens and the Night Terrors with that rear charge. That was awesome. That was a really, really good game. For sure. Yeah, that was a good one, wasn't it? So the Night Terrors and Rigson are able to take that game there, which is going to put the series up 2-0. Man. So if Rigson is able to take this next win, that's actually going to be a 3-0 in the series. And that's like, Dark Elves are a pretty good faction, right? And his play was solid. The Sirens were able to do great work. His Mortars did a ton of work. He was able to last Samurai those Witch Elves on the approach. I mean, a lot of value coming in there. A lot of value. So it could potentially be a 3-0 despite the games being pretty close and competitive. So let's go ahead and jump over to the Wookiee blocker. And we're going to get over to game 3 here. Yeah, it was a really nice build. And now we're on the Iron Sand Desert. And GG. Game 3. Oh, no, I'm not 6'2". I'm about 5'10 and a half. Give or take, yeah, I'm not the tallest of lads. Normal height for an American. Yeah. I think the average height in America for a man is like 5'8 and a half. And it's like around like 5'10", so not much more. Jerry, thank you for the donation. Is Rigson the Gobbo King in disguise? No, he is not. I would love to have the lad back, but it is not. Rigson is doing great. He is a beast. No, we just have the for these tournaments it's just 2 best of 3s and a best of 5. Regardless, my hand is starting to hurt. It's been so bad lately, so you know, it's good to wind it around here. Yeah. That's a good height, Joey. Oh, maybe where you come from, Misha. Here it's not. Empire versus Bretonnia. Anti-Mage, thank you so much for the 5 CHF. What is that? 5 CHF? I remember last week we had someone donate like Colombian pesos. Yeah, Swiss. Yeah, that's Swiss. Thank you so much, man. Matthew Giannotti. Covering Dov in case he didn't pay today. Dov did pay. He was actually here earlier in the stream and he did pay, so. Yeah. Yeah, I will. So it looks like he's going to be picking Dark Elves and banning Greenskins. So Rigson is going to be going and trying to close out the series using the Dark Elves. Adres is maybe going to play Warriors of Chaos, which is a really fun matchup. I would love to see some Chaos today, so. Yeah. Yeah, Switzerland. Yeah, I have some Swiss ancestry actually. On my Italian side of the family, my last name is very Italian. If you guys heard it, you would be like, oh yeah. But I'm pretty much like half Italian, half Irish, give or take. But you know, with some mixtures in there. But my Italian side of the family is from northern Italy, near the Swiss Alps. And my ancestors were actually used to like travel back and forth over the Alps and like guide people. So so I think I have some ancestry, some Swiss heritage as well. Evil fights evil again. So yes, we're going to have Chaos versus the Dark Elves, which is a fun matchup. It's going to be fun. I have a feeling we're going to see some Thanksgiving. Some Warp Turkey is going to be coming in, I would imagine. He's probably the best pick here. Granted, you can bring in like a surprise Kolek every now and then to just get a little bit hog wild. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I think the Morngul ROR, I mean, can be worth it. Yeah, I mean, he made it look like it was. I mean, it did a lot better than regular Mornguls, but the stats are a lot higher for sure. So, Victor, thank you so much for the donation of the 50, I think that's Swedish. Let's go ahead and check. Yeah, thank you so much, which I think is around $5, so thank you, man. Richard Wirtz is back, the hero. Yeah, Richard, sorry I haven't gotten back to your last email yet. Honestly, typing is just super painful, so I've been trying to rest my hand. But thank you so much, man. He says, thanks again for the great stream. Hope you find a needed treatment that works. I'll do my best to help. Well, Richard, it does mean a lot, so thank you so much, man. Richard is paying for Christmas. He's Santa Claus. Yeah, thank you, Richard. Man, holy shit. You guys are so generous. Closing out the stream with the steel chair. Yeah. Richard returns. So what you're saying is ancestors were guiding people over the Alps. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about the history. I just know that my Italian side came from northern Italy, like and they lived like near the Alps, and they used to travel back and forth. I don't know what the circumstances were. I'll have to talk to my dad, but yeah. Yeah, thank you, Richard. It means a lot, man. Really appreciate it. Pharaoh, marry me. Oh, let me let him know to start when ready. Start when... Adri says, chaos comes. Run for your lives. All right. Let's see how this goes. Remember, kids, spend your money on stream. Yes. I agree, raw cauliflower. Mark Zuber, thank you for the Big 10, man. Appreciate it. Well, hopefully you're enjoying the stream. This has been a good stream. We had some really close games. Even though the series we had a 2-0 and a potential 3-0 here, depending on the circumstances, the games have still been really close. I don't... Well, here, let me look at the army. I can't speculate because I can now see the army I just looked, so... Shetland, do you guys think there's going to be a Hell Cannon? Maybe. I mean, Hell Cannons can actually catch people off guard, for sure. Yeah, a lot of people ask me if my channel name is based on Lord of the Rings, and it's actually not, even though I'm a diehard Lord of the Rings fan. My middle name is actually Turin. So, yeah, that's the name of the channel. It's just my middle name. I was like super uncreative. I was just like, oh, well, I'm just going to upload like terrible videos and nobody's going to watch my channel, so let's just give it my middle name. And then all of a sudden people are watching. What the hell's happening? Now I do this for a living, so awesome. Thanks to you guys. This is a nice little chaos army, though. I'm digging it. You guys are you're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it. Yeah, I have seen that, Matthew Giannotti. I have seen that. It's pretty funny. One of my favorite like memes in that light, Matthew, is the one. If any of you guys like Google Gimli destroying the ring, it's really funny. It has like Gimli sitting at the council, and it just like has a bunch of cuts to make it like he actually smashes the ring and the tower collapses. It's really, yeah, it's great. But Lord of the Rings memes are really funny for sure. All right, here we go. All right, and here we are, guys. So, this could be it. Hadri's is down right now. He's down 2 games. This is a best of 5. So here, if Rigson is able to take the game using the Dark Elves, that's going to be all she wrote. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how this game goes out. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Dark Elf army. So for Hadri's, or Rigson, excuse me, Rigson has Malekith on the Black Dragon. He has Soul Stealer and Power of Darkness. So Soul Stealer is probably one of the more optimized spells from Lord of Darkness. Mark of Pain is actually quite good as well, but yeah, I mean, Malekith is going to be pretty scary for sure. Definitely up to the task of feasting on the Warp Chicken. Granted, Warp Chicken has a lot of protective elements too. And a very elite army from the Dark Elves. Wow. We have 2 groups of the Blackguarded Nagaron, and it looks like 2 groups of the Hargoneth Executioners, one of them being the Blades of the Blood Queen with the Guardian ability, and Dread Spears, and it looks like we're just going to have Blackguard Corsairs with handbows. So a very elite defensive army here from Rigson, which is interesting. You know, I'd be a little bit concerned about like dealing with heavy infantry like Chosen chewing through your Blackguard, but nonetheless, this is going to be really cool. So an extremely elite Dark Elf army, which I like quite a bit. No repeater crossbows, playing very defensively using the Reaper Bolt Thrower. And for the forces of the Warriors of Chaos and Hadri's, he's on the ropes, but potentially get back in the game here. He does have 3 groups of Marauder Horsemasters. Now, they don't have the best armor piercing values. However, Warp Chicken could potentially use the debuff that lowers the armor, but it doesn't look like he's going to do that. It looks like he's just going to be using them for their superior range and better melee prowess. And Malekith doesn't have like 100 armor. He only has like 80, right? So the Focus Fire from Marauder Horsemasters can still bring him down. On top of that, we do have a couple groups of Chaos Warhounds to be disrupting and going after the handbows and the repeater, or the Reaper Bolter in the back. We do have some Surtha Ek action, so a couple groups of Chaos Chariots, maybe. No, actually just 1. Warhounds on the far side, Marauder Horsemasters, and a very heavy-duty Chaos Army as well. So Chaos Marauders in the front line, which again are going to be the chaff. They're going to take the beating and absorb the skirmish fire. But in the back, we have some heavy metal Chaos Warriors. We have Chosen with great weapons, another group of Chosen with great weapons, and just 1 group of standard Chosen. So he definitely has enough AP to deal with those Hargoneth Executioners. Plus, Warp Chicken does have the final transmutation, so he could potentially get a fat overcast and just like melt the Dark Elves if they're able to kind of get them bunched up and everything. So, yeah, I don't know. This is gonna be pretty hog wild, guys. To unlock the Warp Chicken, I think you just have to beat the campaign with Chaos, and you could just put it on like easy and rush through it and do it very, very quickly, if I'm not mistaken. So let me let him know to start when ready. When ready. Cool. And this is going to be it, guys. So here we are in the finals. This is game 3. It could potentially be a 3-0 for Riggs in here. But again, Hadri's having a very solid army. Definitely has the tools to take down this Dark Elf force. But vice versa. The Dark Elves definitely have some answers here. Malekith, of course, is going to be able to feast on the chicken. His breath attacks can kill the Chosen very quickly. And he has elite infantry to match the fury of the Chosen. So it's going to be pretty cool. Really excited to see how this goes. If Riggs wins, then we're done with Vampire Coast and Dark Elf spam. At least that's very true. Winning any campaign works. Okay. God, I actually just beat the Chaos campaign when the game first came out to unlock Warp Chicken. So, the forces of the Dark Elves are going to be advancing relatively quickly. Or not Dark Elves, the forces of Chaos are going to be advancing relatively quickly. Obviously, bringing the one Bolt Thrower is going to force them out. And I kind of like that. Just having the one Bolt Thrower to force your opponent to come to you based on the rules of the tournament. And, you know, in general, right, you're going to want to go. So, one of the Marauder Horsemasters does get picked off by the Reaper Bolt Thrower. Probably just going to focus them down. Warp Chicken, his resist to missiles is just too high. So he does take out a couple models there. The handbows are able to pick off some of those guys as well. Looks like they're just going to be going after Malekith, which is by far the best target. Just send the Hounds to feast on the Blackheart Corsairs. This could actually be pretty... I mean, if the Hounds were able to sweep in and get like a rear charge and collapse these Corsairs into the Chaos Infantry, that could be really good. But you can see here, Hadri's making a little bit of a mistake, actually charging the Marauder Horsemasters into the handbows, which is a very tempting thing to do, of course. But they're going to get picked apart here. Their leadership is at 16. They might be able to get a charge. Oh, man. It might pay off since they ran out that direction because the Marauders could potentially sweep in. Chaos Poison Warhounds are coming in as well. And these Poison Hounds have gotten on the Blackheart Corsairs. And here come the Hounds and the Chaos Marauders. And definitely need to get there pretty quick. In the meantime, the Sirtha Accords and the Marauder Horsemasters do collapse on these Blackheart Corsairs with handbows. Malekith is going to go in and probably drop a Soul Stealer. This is looking a little bit rough for Chaos out of the gates. Like, their Horsemasters and their skirmish units are taking so much damage. Warp Chicken coming in with his drumstick as well, but he actually gets knocked over by the Black Dragon. You can see he just gets like tail whipped. And over here, the Corsair handbows are offline for the most part, but he needs to watch out. The Blackguard and Nogrond are lurking right here. These Marauder Horsemasters need to just peel out and go this direction. But he does get some of the handbows offline right out of the gates, and he also takes this one out, but his Chariot gets dragged down. In the back, though, you can see 2 groups of Chaos Warhounds are going to be trying to shut down the Reaper Bolt Thrower. So a very fast, explosive fight. I mean, some back and forth. Losing the Blackheart Corsairs with handbows, I mean, I guess he did get a lot of value, right? These 2 Hounds are beat up, and it looks like the Blades of the Blood Queen are going to be jumping in, engaging standard Chosen, and they're going to kill those Chosen very quickly. He needs to get the great weapons on those guys, like ASAP, right? In the back, the Hounds have done some decent damage. Chariots as well. These Dread Spears are very low. They do get the stand your ground, and it looks like the Reaper Bolt Thrower is still pretty much online here. So Warp Chicken's coming in. He's going to be dropping his hot drumsticks on the Blackguard here, and it looks like the Chosen with great weapons are going to be engaging against the Blades of the Blood Queen, which is quite good. And the other Chosen, yeah, they were able to run away, so that was good. Maybe if he can get a full surround and just mulch these guys down with the 2-on-1 with the Chosen, that could be very good. So the Chosen with great weapons actually going to get the charge, and they're going to do a ton of work against Blades of the Blood Queen. Now, Blades would win in just a straight-up fight, but the Chosen do get the charge, so that's pretty advantageous. And Warp Chicken's nearby. It looks like Chaos Infantry are going to be swarming in, attacking the Blackheart Corsairs. Hounds are sweeping and pressuring everywhere. And suddenly it's looking a lot better for the Warriors of Chaos. The Chosen with great weapons are going to massacre the Blackguard. Blackguard are not meant to fight something like that heavy duty in terms of the infantry game, right? Warp Chicken is just drumsticking all over these guys, and the Chosen with great weapons are chasing as well. And the standard Chosen are coming back around, and there's still a lot of Hounds on the periphery, right? So these Hounds could come in and start harassing again, going after the handbows. I would definitely like to see that. And Marauder Horsemasters are going to be rallying back in. Now, one of the tougher units to kill is going to be Malekith. He definitely should, you know, keep these Marauder Horsemen alive. But it looks like Big Daddy Malekith going to be dropping a breath attack. Yeah, he looks like it's coming. So here it comes onto the Chosen. Not the most devastating. It had that like downward angle, and then instead of like the across angle. And it looks like he's going to be dropping the Soul Stealer as well. Over here, Blades of the Blood Queen have actually outmaneuvered the Chosen a little bit. It looks like they're going to be fighting some of the standard Chosen on the flank. KFC King, of course, is dropping some hot drumstick fire. And it looks like a massive Hound onslaught is going to be getting into the cookie jar. But that's what's cool about Corsairs is they're pretty strong in melee, actually. These guys, like, you know, can fight off Hounds and things like that. The other group of Hounds is going to be charging into the back of Malekith, who is taking some Marauder Horsemaster fire. Chosen with great weapons still doing a very good job against the Blackguard. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. I think that Chaos is looking a little bit beat up here. These Blackguard are in good shape, and he did eventually get the Blades of the Blood Queen in that optimal engagement versus the non-armor-piercing Chosen, which they're going to get a ton of value trading, like, upwards, even though they're beat up, right? So right now the Warp Chicken does drop a Final Transmutation, which does hit these Hargoneth Executioners and the Blackguard, and it also hit Malekith for a moment, but it looks like he was able to kind of rotate out of that. In the meantime, the Reaper Bolt Thrower in the back is still shooting. Corsair handbows are in okay shape, 69 models, that's what she said, and also 54 right here. Chaos is actually, yeah, they're starting to stomp the art a little bit right here, over here on the far side. Yeah, you can see Chaos actually pulling the bounce power back a little bit. It actually was in the favor of the Dark Elves there for a moment, but Chaos is starting to do pretty well. Chosen with great weapons getting a fat breath attack. KFC King is going to be coming in with his drumsticks to drop some splash damage here, but Malekith does the same thing. Malekith, of course, going to hit a lot harder on his Black Dragon Seraphon. So Marauder Horsemasters are actually pulling back. They're definitely going to need to focus on Malekith. He's going to be the biggest problem, right? There's not really like any dedicated anti-large to deal with such a dragon. And it looks like all the handbows are still online, which is a little bit tough. Chosen here almost have the Blades of the Blood Queen down, getting a little bit of assistance from the Chaos Marauders. But Malekith is up in the skies. He's causing a ton of problems. And yeah, the Drumstick King is he's looking a little bit lost right now. Maybe he's going to go after the handbows. That would probably be the best use for him, to be honest. Poison Hounds charging back in, getting on some of the Blackheart Corsairs. Marauder Horsemasters charging in as well. But the Chosen are actually getting routed off on all fronts. So it looks like Rigson might actually take this series 3-0 here. You can see the Chosen with Great Weapons are getting taken out. And Sartorial, the Ever Chicken, is trying his best. Maybe going to be casting a Final Transmutation right here. But no, that actually looks like a Soul Stealer maybe going to be going down, or some sort of Witchcraft. Yeah, Soul Stealer. But Warp Chicken does have really good magic resist. So the Marauder Horsemasters are going to be throwing their spears into Malekith right here. But the Corsair handbows are online. The Bolt Thrower is still shooting. Chosen are actually getting beaten up on multiple fronts, mainly because of the Malekith charges. His charges have been super destructive against those guys. And the Blackguard, you know, against Tattered Chosen should be able to hold, right? Blades of the Blood Queen here are fighting to the bitter end, and they're actually able to break those guys due to army losses. And that's going to be a 3-0 for Rigson. So he pulls out the Malekith gameplay on the Dragon with an elite Dark Elf army, very different than the standard metagame. And it looks like he's able to take that one 3-0, which is pretty wild. Yeah, Malekith was causing a ton of problems. I mean, that was a close game. Chaos almost pulled it back, but really there just was no answer for Malekith. He was able to have free range. There was no like heavy pressure on him, and sometimes I think that's why Kolek is a really good pick, because he's able to kind of beat down Malekith. But the Warp Chicken is better against traditional Dark Elves, but against this type of a build, Kolek would have been probably a little bit better. Granted, there was a Reaper Bolt Thrower and Blackguard. It's hard. It's hard for sure. So the great KFC King, the Herald of Tzeentch, is going to be falling to Malekith the Witch King there. Yeah. Oh yeah. Rigson stomping the yard, as they say. Oh yeah, yeah. There was mistakes, but again, it's you know, you're playing against the good players. They're going to force you to make mistakes, right? So so let's go ahead and update the scoreboard here, and that's going to be 3-0. So yeah, that's a pretty quick stream today. 2.5 hours. I guess it's not a quick stream. So big congratulations to Rigson. Rigson is going to be winning today's Eternal Challenger League qualifier number 6. He's going to be qualifying for the grand finals, which will be in December, and he's also going to be earning one of our pieces of 8. Also, very well played to Hadries. Let's go ahead and take a look at everyone here in the tournament brackets. So big congratulations to Rigson for winning today's tournament. Congratulations to Hadri, again, for Hadries for coming in second, playing some great games. He actually took out Zablocki, who's a very high-level player. So Hadries had amazing games here, and Zablocki did well, and Fly on Bread, of course, in his first tournament, put up a great fight against Rigson, who ended up winning the tournament. So yeah, that was a great run today, guys. Quite a bit of fun. That Malekith was able to do some serious work. I mean, he was just stomping the yard for sure. So yeah, crazy event. Let's go ahead and take GG. Congrats. Talk soon, brothers. Rigson says, big thanks to you, Turin, for promoting the multiplayer scene with the steel chair commentary. You got it. All right. That's going to be it, guys. So the pieces of 8 are going to be going to, oh man, I'm so tempted to click the quick battles right now, but I know I need to save my hand for this week to record for you guys. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it. So big congratulations to Rigson. He's going to be qualifying for the grand finals. He's going to earn a piece of 8. And now we have 2 more qualifiers left, only 2. And after the next 2, we're going to be coordinating the finals. I'm going to lock in a date with all the competitors. And from there, we're going to have our grand finals. And I'm currently talking to a couple sponsors and individuals who are looking to put up some prize money. So yeah, it's going to be big. It's going to be fun. There's going to be giveaways. I'm going to try and have some guest casters on and some other stuff like that. Lady Turin doing some custom art. So yeah, it's going to be wild. Yeah, Archeon might have done well there, actually. Yeah. Archeon's going to do well. I can't do quick battles. I can't, guys. Sorry. I'm in a lot of pain right now, so I need to go rest for the day and just take it easy. So let's go ahead and talk about the donations. Big thanks to Mark Zuber, Richard Wirtz with a fat 50, Victor, Matthew, Anti-Mage, Jerry, Bartek, Jankuya Bardzo, Miso, Fly on Bread, Austin Horath, and then Jeremias. Javik with the channel sponsor, Austin Horath again. Christopher Bruns on both PayPal as well as here. As always, thank you so much, man. You've been consistent. Drew Johnson, Jesters, and Fritz are new members of the channel as well. Dov did pay today. Richie Monkey, Reaper Null, Jared Plotz, and let me go ahead and double check to make sure I didn't miss any other ones. And I think that's gonna be it for today. And yes, we got Christopher, and then we got Luis Reichman on PayPal. So thank you guys so much for your very generous donations. It means quite a bit. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. And we'll be back maybe midweek. We might have one during the week. I'm not 100% sure. But there's always going to be something on the weekends. But during the week, there might be one on like Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on the circumstances. I know some people aren't free on the weekend, so I want to like try and accommodate them. And yeah, that's it, guys. That's all she wrote. You access the Warp Chicken by just beating a campaign, I think. Yeah. I would double check though, Robin. I would actually Google that just to be sure. Yeah, and before you guys leave, drop a like. It doesn't mean a lot. If we could get up close to 1,000 likes, that'd be really, really nice. For supporting the multiplayer content and all that stuff. So yeah, drop a like if you guys want on the way out. And thank you guys so much. We will see you guys either Wednesday or next weekend. And stay tuned. We got a lot of fun content coming. Collaborations with Lore Master of Sotek. We're going to do part 3 of our series about who would win and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So guys, big thanks for joining. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Take care.